start in time. Hello everyone. You can all hear me? Yes, because I've got a multitude of microphones here. Welcome to Nursing Orientation. Before we do get started though, we'd like to pay our respects to traditional owners of the land. So Professor Carleen Thornton is going to come forward and do acknowledgement of country for us.
I'll just do a correction to Danelle, which you'll absolutely be mortified at. It's Associate Professor and not Professor. So let's go. Where is our
upgrade
screens? All right, so my name is Carleen Thornton. I'm the Academic Lead for Nursing, and welcome. It is so exciting to see you. We're passing around the sugar hit, so hopefully you'll start off on a high. We really want you to enjoy this week, enjoy your session with Danelle. Treats start next week if you haven't already started, and hopefully I'll get to meet some of you who'll be undertaking one of the topics that I'm doing. So it's fantastic to see you here, and I hope you have a great day, all right? And a great semester, and a great year, and a great couple of years with us at Flinders Uni. All right, I'm very privileged to do the acknowledgement of country. Flinders University acknowledges the traditional owners and custodians of the lands on which its campuses are located, and these are the traditional lands of the Arrernte, Dagamon, First Nations of the South East, the First Peoples of the River Murray and Mallee region, Jawan, Kaurna, Larrakia, Ngadjara, Ngarrindjeri, Ramandjeri, Waramongu, Waterman and Lyongu people. And we honour their elders past, present and emerging, and I acknowledge that the lands we're on are unceded lands. So welcome, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Associate Professor. Thank you, Carleen. So, how exciting. You all look excited and motivated to start nursing. So our theme this year is exploration and travel. And I guess you could relate that back to your degree, thinking, once you've gone through your 2 or 3 years that you're doing, or more if you're doing it part-time, you'll have your passport to travel, and that's your registration. That allows you to be able to practice in other states and in some other countries as well, so you'll be able to get to see the world of nursing. So it's a really exciting profession that you're entering into. I don't need to sell it to you because you're already here, so that's fantastic. Welcome people, come on in. So today we've got quite a lot to get through. There's a lot of bits and pieces to get through, which is just our standard things. I'm going to talk a little bit about nursing. Our placements people will be here. I'm not sure that's what you're all here to hear about. And then we've got a couple of guest spots about our services that we offer. Now I'm going to go right back to the front and introduce myself, which I realise I didn't do. So my name is Danelle Arthur. I'm the course coordinator for the Bachelor of Nursing. I'm going to introduce you to a team that we have. They're not all here today because they have some prior commitments. So Professor Alison Kitson is our Vice President and Executive Dean. She heads all of nursing. We've got Professor Tiffany Conroy. She will be coming to this afternoon session, unfortunately, but you will see her around the grounds. She's our Deputy Dean for Nursing, Leadership and Innovation. Senior Lecturer Guy Peacock is our Teaching Program Director. He sends his apologies to you today. He oversees the implementation of the university's education policies and strategies. He also works in the undergrad and postgrad space, so you may see him as a topic coordinator also. And you've met Associate Professor Carleen Thornton, who apart from working in our undergrad and postgrad space, is also our academic lead, where she provides leadership in teaching related activities and scholarship of teaching excellence in our nursing course. Further, we've got, come on in, a number of people who look after set areas of our nursing. So we have Rebecca Rose, is our first year lead, and she will oversee the first year topics. Dr. Omar Smarty is our second year coordinator and will oversee the second year topics, and Dr. Kim Mildy, who is our third year coordinator. So most of you are, you're all first years, but you will likely deal mostly or see Rebecca Rose if you need to. Leanne Pront is not here at the moment. She is teaching, but Jodie is one of our placement education coordinators. You'll have a lot to do with Jodie and Leanne on your nursing journey. And just popped in at the end, we've got Dr. Hilla Daphne. She's one of our postgraduate and undergraduate lecturers, and also our Work Health and Safety Officer.
Thank you. And I just want to mention that I'm also the Respect Now and Always chair, and it's very important for us to be safe on campus. So if you're going across the campus and you see those kind of posters, please be aware that you can scan it, the barcode, if you're not feeling safe, or if something happened, we'd like to know about it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you more about that. I've got a slide dedicated to that, so I will talk about that later on when we talk about the campus a bit more. All right, so let's get started into getting your essentials organised. So really important to be organised on campus. So this next section will take you through some things that you probably have already done, but if you haven't, it's probably good to get on to it. Being organised at uni will help you it'll just make your life easier. We all know you've got sports and jobs and family and lots of external influences. So being organised with your classes, come on in everyone. Being organised with your classes and being able to sort your calendar out can make your life a lot easier. It seems like a really simple thing, and it is a really simple thing. So first of all, it's easy to stay connected at Flinders. Preferred wireless network is the EDU Roam. This is available to staff and students. So when you're connected on EDU Roam, you can connect wirelessly to all the Flinders University campus, even if you're at another institution or even at the medical facilities. So you go to the Wi-Fi prompt, and when it prompts you about EDU Roam, you need to put in your username, and that will be your FAN. So your FAN is your Flinders authentication name, and you will have that number or that letters and 4 numbers for the duration of your degree here. So has everyone done that yet? Well, you're all doing it madly while I'm speaking. Great, thumbs up, excellent, fantastic. All right, new students. So Compass was designed to lead you to content and systems that you would access on a regular basis from one single location. Excuse me. It doesn't replace the student system or your Okta, but it makes it easier for you to find things. It's kind of like, I know, a one-stop shop as such. You'll find all the details about orientation week. You'll find study support, resources, exam information, latest COVID-19 information if there's any. There's things in there about your key dates like graduation, examinations, census date and those sort of things. And if you've already enrolled, there'll be your personalised timetable, and classes will be there for easy access for you as well. So it links you to all sorts of services, so make sure you find the time to peruse that site. If I'm talking too fast, just do this because I get very excited, okay? Just go slow down, Janelle. All right, student ID card. So you're going to use that same student ID card throughout your time at Flinders, and you need to display it at multiple times. So if you're having going to an exam, you'll need to have it there. You might need it for photocopying, for borrowing books and things like that. So make sure that you have your student card organised. Has everyone got their student card organised? Yeah, thumbs up, yeah. I won't say anyone hasn't, but if you haven't, you need to get onto it. If you've enrolled only recently, like in the last 24 to 48 hours, there might be a delay in getting it back to you. All right? And you can order it from your Compass page. We'll make it as easy as possible for you to do these things. Enroll and register. So really important to, well, I think it's important to enrol into your classes early. It gives you the opportunity to have some control over it. So you might be enrolled in a topic where there's multiple morning classes, or maybe there's only one morning class and one afternoon class, so you want to get in and get the one that suits you best. All right, you might not be a morning person, so you're going to go and pick that 11 o'clock start or the 2 o'clock start. And our classes are capped at about 30 students, okay, to make that a really good learning experience for you and the tutor. So that's why it's a good idea to get in early. Then you can get organised and highlight your calendar so you know when your classes are. And it's also up to you to make sure that your classes aren't clashing. Okay, we're talking She's not here at the moment. Courtney will turn up. Come in. Courtney will turn up later and talk after my chat and talk about your timetables and clashing and things like that. But it is up to you to make sure that you don't clash with your classes. So quite often I'm not going to read what's actually on the screen because that doesn't make sense. You get to read that and I will chit-chat around that. So get familiar with your learning environment. So quite often you might hear me or a staff refer to your learning platform as Canvas because we've actually newly changed over last year, but as first year students you've missed all of that. So what we call Flow or Canvas is the same thing. It's the platform where you open up and you go into your modules and you do all your work, okay? That's your digital platform. So who's been into their topics? Yay, look at that, all those ones that are going to race home and look at it this afternoon, fantastic. That's a really good, because classes start next week, so this is your opportunity to get familiar with the site and the buttons. Have a look at the assignment, not the assignments, we'll get to that. Have a look at your module content so you know what sort of things you're going to be looking at, and you can have a look at how much you need to do, because quite often some of these topics you've got quite a lot of pre-readings before you come to class. You can have a look at those assignments and see when they're due and put that due date in your calendar as well. So you've got something to work towards. So you can map everything out. So it's a really good chance for you to get familiar with your topic. There's lots of links on your site. You can see who the teaching team is. You can have a look at tutorial outlines, all sorts of things like that. And you can see a nice warm welcome message from your topic coordinator as well. So you should all have access now. Your topics go live 1 week before they start. So everyone should have access. Yes, good. That doesn't work. Transport. You would have noticed when you came here today, was the car park filling up? You're allowed to nod. Yes. Okay. So we have buses. So there's a free loop bus. The university offers a free loop bus for your use, and there's also a smaller bus that travels to the Tonsley campus as well. The university bus runs during semester and links the North, South and Sturt precincts with the Flinders Medical Centre, and it leaves quite regularly, and you'll find there's timetables, I think, at the bus stops. There's also, if you live in town or south, some express services of the normal South Australian bus service that come to the university in the morning to make sure you get here on time as well. Come in. Okay, I'll just take a breath. Does anyone have any questions so far? If you have any questions about anything at any time, just pop your hand up and we'll get a roving mic out there so that I can hear you. So don't hold on to those questions if you've got a burning question, all right? Scholarships. So there's lots of scholarships opportunities. That site is our Flinders site where you can go to have a look and see if you are eligible for any scholarships. It's well worthwhile applying just in case, you might be able to, you might be suitable. If you don't apply, you just won't know. Scholarships are really handy for students come times when you're on placement, and so you might not be able to, or you can't work while you're on placement. I was going to say might not be, but you cannot work while you're on placement. So you can't work during those 2, 4 or 8 week periods. So having a scholarship and that bit of money in your pocket that pays the rent and the mortgage and the bills, childcare so you can come to class, pay for books. So it's a really good opportunity that the government does offer. I met a student recently in the Riverland who also applied outside of Flinders to Australian College of Nursing and got a $10,000 scholarship, and she's pretty happy with that. That covers all her things that she needs for the next couple of years. So it's something worth investigating if you're interested in that. Lots of opportunities. Try not to make it hard for you. Safety on campus. So this is what Hilla was alluding to. So it's really important that you feel safe on campus, but also that your fellow colleagues are safe as well, so to look out for them as well. We're committed to providing a safe and respectful learning environment for you and for everyone. So it's not just for students, it's for staff as well. If you feel unsafe at any time, say you might be working back here and it's dark and you need an escort to your car, for example, we have 24-hour security and they may be available to take you or to escort you to your car. So if you feel unsafe at any time, and you'll find on the back of your student card, there's the phone number for security. All right, so, and they're really good and they are very prompt and they'll turn up. So make sure that you do feel safe. Security officers are around the grounds 24 hours a day. And again, that QR code that Hilla was mentioning, if you go to that, I think it will also take you to the campus page where there are also links for you if you feel unsafe or if you see something on campus that makes you feel unsafe or that you've seen happen, you can go there and put in your information about that. Thanks, Hilla. So, O Week, very exciting, takes place all of this week. I'm sure you've been involved, been up the hub, got involved in all those activities. I'll tell you now, because in case I forget, I'm not sure if I put the slide in, but there is a free lunch in the cafe after this, and lots of goodies and a slushy machine, and the uniforms people are there, so if you want to try on your uniforms, to get your sizing right for when you order it for your intensives and placement, they won't be there, but the uniforms are there. So lots of good things happening here on campus as well, but you've probably also going on to your campus where you plan your orientation, and there's lots and lots of sessions where you can get yourself some knowledge about things, whether it's the Student Learning Support Service or other services that are available. Please come in and you'll just see how much help there is around for you. Welcome. It's also a really good opportunity to meet other students, start some networks, find some lifelong friends. It's a really exciting time for you starting university. Sometimes some of you students have already been to university, or it might be the first time, so it's an excellent opportunity with so many students milling around to make some new friends as well. All right, I feel like I do need to take a breath. I think I'm way ahead of schedule, which is super. Come in, come in. Excuse me. So I thought I should talk a little bit about nursing, since that's what you're all here for, right? So today here we have the BNGU, which is our Bachelor of Nurse graduate, our undergrad, so coming in to do the 3-year course. And we also have the BNGUC, which is our enrolled nurses coming in and doing an enrolled nurse pathway. How many of those enrolled nurse pathway people have we got? None here. Well, you... One? One. All right, so because we're going to talk a bit about that as well, because that's important, because it's a very similar pathway. All right, so it's a 3-year program if you're in our undergrad, and a 2-year program if you're in the enrolled nurse pathway. In the first year, you will learn about all sorts of stuff. Australia and the healthcare system, specific communication for nursing. We'll delve into some research and evidence-based practice. You'll get a really good grasp on anatomy and physiology and health assessment, and there's a couple of other topics, and then there's also a big focus on First Nations health and cultural safety. Once we get into second year, we get into some more chunky stuff. We start looking at the pathophysiology, physical and mental health, safety and quality in healthcare, which looks at building your understanding of the national safety and quality standards in Australia, and exploring our professional codes and guidelines and looking at how these are relevant for when you actually go to practice. There's a lot of stuff in second year also about legal and ethical responsibilities and accountabilities. And by the time we get to second year, you're also doing placements as well. In third year, you are looking at doing all those things that are just getting you ready to go out to practice. So we're looking at Professional accountability and responsibility. We've even got a topic that helps you set up your application for your TPPP and things like that. And you've got those really big placements in third year, the 8-week placements, 2 of those in third year. So as per this slide, in first year for the undergrad program, you'll have a 2-week placement. In the second year, you'll have 2 4-week placements. And in third year, 2 8-week placements. So I'm not going to talk too much about placements because Jodie's going to come and give you everything you need to know about placements, and I think that's where a lot of your questions will be, but that's okay. We have PEP topics. So what they are they getting you ready for your placement. So you'll do those just prior. Professional experience practice. Is that right, Jodie? Yep. So in that one, it'll be 4 weeks online. So you going online and interacting, so it's very important that you have that interaction. And then you'll have a week intensive, and during that intensive you'll be in the labs with your full uniforms on, looking like fabulous nursing students. And it will be pretty heavy with clinical skills. So those first and second year PEP topics don't have any assessments with regard, like writing essays and things. However, it does have clinical assessments, and it's all in that intensive week. However, it's what you learn in those 4 weeks prior that will underpin all that. So that'll all come together in your intensive week. These are also hurdle assessments, which means that you have to pass them. All right, so you'll come across multiple topics or assessments throughout your degree that are called hurdle assessments, and you have to pass that to pass the topic. And they are important things, like in these ones that prepare you for placement, you will need to do medication safety calculations, of which there's lots and lots of practice sessions. We don't just say, here you go, do that. There's lots of practice to support you, so you need to pass that because industry expects that. And then when you go onto your intensive and you're practicing skills, we expect to see that, depending on your scope of practice, that you're able to complete that skill appropriately. And then, of course, there's your placement itself, which is, again, a hurdle that you need to pass to show us that you're a safe practicing nurse ready to go on to the next year. Excuse me. Shift work. So in our labs, when you're doing your intensive, we mirror industry. We're not going to make you do night shift, but we'll be doing 2 shifts that you'll be expected to do throughout that intensive. You might be scheduled for an 8 until 2 shift or a 2 until 8 shift. So we try and get you sort of into the rhythm of things with doing a bit of shift work as well. So you'll get to see that aspect of nursing. First and second year topic coordinators. Now, I've just listed a whole bunch. It looks like a really busy slide. However, as per the little star in the top corner, it is preferable that you email your topic the topic email. So, for example, you're in NURS 1021 and your topic coordinator is Sarah. Instead of emailing her, because that could get lost in the personal emails, you are emailing NURS1021@flinders.edu.au, and all the topics have a code like this. Then it will go directly to the topic coordinator, because if she's away, there's no one there to check that very important email that you've sent, and we can't respond to it. So we ask that you use the topic email, and any topic that you're enrolled in has one of these set up. All right, that's just to make it a bit easier for everyone. Up on the board, you'll see often there's 2. I've got 2 topic coordinators. That just might mean that there could be 2 availabilities. Sometimes we'll offer a topic twice because there's so many students, we need to spread them out. So again, just look at the blue number, which is what you need to focus on. So while I'm here talking about topic coordinators, because you'll hear us talk about tutors and topic coordinators, I think maybe in the next slide. A topic coordinator is the person who gives you that big warm welcome video in the topic that you go into. They are the one, they usually develop the topic, so they have a really good idea about what they want, what message they're wanting to get across. They are the ones that coordinate the topic. They're the ones that provide all the materials to your tutors, who can then deliver it to you. They provide all the resources and the PowerPoints. They set all your assignments up. They approve your extension requests and deal with all the resubmissions and all that administration of your topic. And they, more often than not, will also take a class, and then they'll be your tutor. So a tutor, because quite often we have maybe 500 students enrolled in a topic, and it's like, oh, I can't teach 500 of you. So then we have a team of very experienced tutors who are often permanent staff members, or they come from our pool of very experienced casuals that we use. And we have lots and lots of casuals that we use that come, they've been doing this for years and years and years. So they're the ones who will deliver the content that your topic coordinator has developed, set up, etc. So when you hear us talk about a tutor, it means the person who's teaching your class. The topic coordinator is the person who is in charge of that topic. For those people who arrived a little bit late, welcome. That's okay. I'm going to upload these slides onto our BN course page, which just coincidentally is on the next slide. So if you have missed out, there is some information on those slides, or you're welcome to touch base with me if there's something important that you want to know about. This BN course information page should appear on your dashboard under one of your topics and is available to all students. So this is put together. It has lots of links to resources, lots of information about the nursing program. It talks about maybe how we put it together, some of our themes, some of our underpinning philosophies. I have teachers list in there. What else do I have in there? Lots of, I'll put my glasses on so I can read my notes. Links to policies, which are really important, and we try and have you on board with understanding these policies, certainly in the first year. Study plans. There'll be a list of student reps, which I'm about to put a call out in the next week or two for student reps for every year, so keep an eye out for that expression of interest. Links to services, and also this communication framework, which I have on screen. It's split into two because it's very big. That's also on this page as well. So this is lots of helpful information on this page to go to. So this one is just about who you contact, so that you can get to the right person instead of taking a day to go from A to B to C to D to finally the right person. So again, clinical placements, there's a link here that will take you to the clinical placement site if you have a placement query. Timetables and concerns, NHS inquiries at Flinders, they're fantastic. I even email them all the time with random questions and they will direct me to where I need to go. Anything about for your writing, your numeracy, how to write assignments, there's some links that go to the Student Learning Support Services, and I'll talk about those a bit towards the end of our session. There is sometimes issues with technology. Might be connecting to EDU Roam, it might be something about your computer. We have an IT service that can help you out there. Personal issues. I'll talk a bit more about the Flinders Health and Counselling and Disability Services towards the end when I talk about our services, and student experience. We always want to know how you're doing, connect you to some clubs and things like that. And again, when you go down to the cafeteria after this, I believe they've got information about some of the clubs that are around at the moment as well. This one is a further communication network. If you've got queries about your topic, if it's an assignment query, you can't attend class, then you email your tutor, because they're the one who's expecting you to turn up, or they're the one who can tell you about the assignment. If you're not getting the answer you need, or they're not available, or for whatever reason, you then go to the topic coordinator and they should be able to help you. If you have further issues, or it's something that you feel is above the topic coordinator, maybe it goes to one of our year leads and then they can sort it out. Anything that needs further, can't even think of anything at the moment, then maybe you need to come and see me as a course coordinator and I can fix it. All right, and if I can't and it's something really, really big, There are avenues you can go through if it's a complaint or it's something that you need help on. But usually, somewhere along this line, someone will be able to help you out. Any questions so far? Oh, I feel like I've been talking really fast. Okay, well, you all look like you've caught up. Okay. Let me see what other important things I wanted to tell you. Oh, okay, yes. University life. Who's been to university before? A couple of little hands there. Okay. All right, so you might know how it runs. Sometimes it's a difficult transition, sometimes like a duck to water. Okay, everyone has a different experience at university. So just come in with an open mind. Come on in, speaking of coming in. Thanks, Courtney. You might be straight from school. You might be the first person in your family to go to university. You might be upskilling like some of our ENs and enrolled nurses. You might have changed direction completely from being an accountant or a hairdresser and thought, nursing's for me. So there's lots of different reasons why someone will come to university, and with that, you'll have a different experience to the person next to you. So it's really important that you make this your journey and you make it work for you. Lots of different ways to make it work for you. Sometimes you sort of gung-ho, you join up, all you can see is graduation and you go straight to graduation, do your 3 years without a blip. And that's okay, fantastic. There are other students who maybe halfway through the first year think, this is really hard. I've got family or I've got sports, I've got all sorts of things going on. I've just got no time for myself. Maybe I should go to part-time. And that's okay as well. You might get to the end of the year and feel really frazzled and go, I think I'll do the next year part-time and then I'll come back and I'll do the last year full-time. That's okay as well. So there's lots of flexibility with how you can study to make it work for you and your circumstances, okay? Because not everyone's the same. And then there's going to be things that pop up. And that's okay. You might have a baby. A bit hard to study sometimes when you're juggling all that. You might have to go away for a year. Or you might have stresses that stop you from studying for 6 months. All right, all you need to do is let us know and we can accommodate that and help you work through it so that you can come back and study and be fresh. All right, so there will always be ways around it. I would say to you, if you're feeling stressed, make sure you touch base with at least your topic coordinator so that they might be able to link you in with some services or help you out. Okay, university is different for everyone. And it can be hard, but it can also be super fun, all right? Opportunity where you're meeting new friends, often lifelong friends. I've got friends from when I went to university still. Making those networks will make it easier for you as well. Have those study groups, all right? Don't try and do everything yourself because you don't have to. We have lots of services here to help you so that you don't have to do it all yourself, all right? Because we want you to succeed. At university, we have a diverse range of people and ages. You'll know that from walking around campus and up at the Sturt Hub, and we embrace that fully. I have students in my class from 18 years old to 60-odd. All right, and we embrace it all because you all come with something and you all contribute with, whether it's past experience or new fresh eyes, you all contribute in some way. And it's really important that you understand and know that you are valued because of that. So you need to find the right balance for you, okay? And that might be a matter of also managing your time well, which we talk about, and I'll probably talk about again and again and again. So ultimately, you're the adult, so we focus very much on adult learning here. Even students coming from school, we try to teach you that step up with that adulting because that's a really important element. So we expect that you know your own timetables. We expect that you know the right class to come to and that you will ask questions if you don't know. So we're pretty good at everything but we're not good at reading your mind. And it's hard when you come to us at week 6 and you say, oh, I haven't been coping and I haven't done any work for 6 weeks. Because I could have connected you with someone who could help you so that you were able to cope, or that puts to help you with some strategies to put in place, and I could have helped you. So it's really important that you reach out early so that we can help you to succeed. Yeah? Coming to class. Best opportunity to learn. I know that some classes are not compulsory. However, coming to class, having that networking with that person next to you, having that opportunity to talk to your topic coordinator with a question straight away that you can get answered straight away is fantastic. It's really important to have, excuse me, that way you can develop a relationship with your tutor so you're comfortable with them to ask questions. All right? The university, again, as per this, is driven by you. So what we do is we often, in fact, most topics, I would say almost all topics, we have a flipped classroom approach. So what that means is that you don't come to a room like this and listen to someone like me just jabbering away for 3 hours, because that's really boring. Yeah, it's really boring. Even though we give you lollies, it's pretty boring. What we expect is that you've done these readings, because we've told you, before you come to class, we want you to read this, have a think about this question, read this chapter, so that you have an understanding. So when you come to class, all the classes and the activities are designed around the fact that you know a little bit about the topic that we're talking about today. And we do activities that consolidate your learning, that make you go, oh, that's why that happens. So it's really important as an adult learner, if we've said to you, you need to do these pre-readings before you come to class, that you do that, because it makes your learning experience so much better. Okay, and it makes the tutor's job a lot easier, because they're going to see you going, yeah, and nodding in class, and it's a great experience. All right, so this is an important thing for you to be able to do. You will find that we do online classes and face-to-face classes. Face-to-face classes, like I've just said, fantastic. I love it when I have a whole class of students and they're really engaged and they're thinking. It's fantastic. We also have online classes. That doesn't mean that you just turn it on and go and watch Netflix. It's on in the background there, that's okay. I can still hear the tutor. It means that we want to see you. We want to make sure that you have a camera. It's really important for your online classes that you have a camera and you turn it on so that you are part of that classroom. Okay? We don't record it for you to watch later. We are there for you to do the tutorial, to do the teaching session, to teach you and answer your questions there. We just do it in an online format so that you can do it from home in your pyjamas. Okay? So you will be doing different types of modes of learning. Okay? Online's getting more and more current. So make sure you do have those technology to support that. Have your microphone. Don't be shy. Support yourself with a bunch of people who will support you. I can't stress enough also, if you are studying at home, to have a study space. Sometimes it's hard if you're living, say you're living with mum and dad and you've got brothers and sisters, you might share a room, or you've got kids, or whatever the circumstance. Just try and find that little niche, that little area where you can go to, where you know that's your study corner, where you know where you go and sit there, that you get to focus and find something that works for you. I used to play this music CD in the background. It was specific, just background tunes, and I played it all through my 3 years of university and postgrad and all studies, and so when I hear it, I automatically go into study mode. It's a bit nerdy, isn't it? But that worked for me. But you will find your own thing. It might work for you studying from 10 o'clock at night time until 3 in the morning, because that's how you work. Make it work for you. Organise late classes the next day so that you can do your study that way. You might feel really fresh in the morning and get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and go, I'm going to study now for the next 4 hours, then I'm going to have lunch. Great. Be consistent if that works for you. So it's a matter of finding what works for you and what works with your lifestyle. Okay? Because if you've got kids or animals or things like that, you still have to remember them. You can't forget them for 6 to 12 weeks while you're studying. All right? Plants still need to get watered. All these things need to be put into your calendar, which is on the next page. Oh, no. Semester dates. So these are just some with your time management, because I raced ahead. Time management, some things that are important to help you with your time management, to put into your little calendars so that you can make sure you remember all these things. Okay, remembering things that your topics might run from January to December. In nursing, we don't do set semester 1, semester 2. We have topics all over the place, so you need to be really well aware of when you've got your topics. The online learning might start before the face-to-face classes, so we all know that face-to-face classes start next week, but perhaps an online class might have started last week or the week before. So again, as an adult, you're responsible to be across that. Holidays. Holidays and time away. So this is why it's important to be organised, because we're not going to stop you having your holidays, but you need to make sure, because now that you've committed to study, and we expect to see you in class for that 6 or 12 weeks, however long your topic is, if you go away during those classes, you're not eligible for things like extension requests and stuff, because the policy says plan your holidays around your study. Okay, that's an adult thing to do, that's just what you have to do. So you need to make sure that you've looked at your topic and you can see when all your assignments are, and you've planned it and you've thought, yep, I'm good here, I've got 2 weeks off here, I'm going to go away for the weekend, refresh. Okay, so make sure you can plan for it. Hurdle assessments I talked about before, they're the assessments that you must pass. Time management. Again, I'm going on about it because it's really important and I promise you it will help you. Now that little picture up in the top, that could be what yours looks like, but it's about, again, finding what works for you. Okay, if you're really tech savvy, there's probably multiple apps out there that will keep you on track. Some people like a paper diary and like to cross out things and tick things off. It's very satisfying, ticking things off when you've done stuff. Just make sure that when you are mapping out your classes and things that you don't just go, oh, good, uni, 11 till 2, excellent, I'm going to go to the beach after that. Maybe I'll do some shopping before it. I'm not saying you can't do that, but just remember if you've got a class from 11 to 2, that you've done all your readings and all your preparation work. Otherwise, it won't be a fabulous student experience for you, because you might just struggle to go, oh, I should have read about that, because then I'd understand what she's talking about a bit more. Okay, so important when you're planning your time to block out time for your pre-class preparation. Make sure you block out your family's birthdays and things. You can't be missing out on those just because you're studying. There's still important things that you need to remember. You've still got family, you've got friends, you've got a dog, you've got plants that need watering, okay? You still need to do those things. That's why it's good to be organised. My favourite thing, start assignments early. Yeah, day one. If you're ever in any of my classes, that's what you hear in that first tutorial. Start your assignment today, all right? Because it's so much easier. Start out with dot points. Oh, I might talk about this, this and this. And then the next time you look at it, that bullet point might turn into a sentence or 2 sentences. And then a couple of days later, you look at it again, it turns into a paragraph. Before you know it, your essay's written. All right? And then there's no stress. And you might be doing multiple classes, so you need to make sure that you go, oh, I'll do this one today and I'll do this one tomorrow. And it works and it flows. All right? So find what works for you and don't forget to include those rewards, okay? There's no point, well, there is a point. It's important to study and important to get through, but there's no point not rewarding yourself at the end. If you just go, oh, I've got to study again, you start getting a really negative attitude about study and it permeates everything. Whereas if you go, you know what, oh, thank goodness I've got Sunday off, I'm going to the beach, I'm going out with my friends for lunch, you've got a reward to look forward to. And that's always good. Here's a nerdy thing for you. Don't tell anyone. I remember when the last Harry Potter book, or one of the Harry Potter books came out, and I was studying, and it arrived first day of semester. And I was like, oh, I can't read this. And it sat there, wrapped in plastic, because I wouldn't let myself do that. I'm like, no, I'm going to get through my 6 weeks, and then I'm going to read it. That was my reward. And it sat there on my study desk, and I looked at it longingly, wanting to read my Harry Potter book. And, got there in the end. But that was my motivation. That's a bit nerdy, I get that. But we all have something different. We all have our ways to do things like that. Self-care. So the university prides itself on helping you to do self-care. Self-care can be anything. It can be something that helps you stay focused. It's about taking time away from studies or life or whatever, something that helps you to refresh and regenerate your mental and spiritual health. And it's really important that you take the time to do that. And that could be in those little reward times. But it's about ensuring your well-being and your professional development. So if you are refreshed and you are healthy and you've taken time for self-care, you will find that you'll fit your studies in well. It's important to eat well. A balanced diet is, I'm not going to go on about like I'm a dietitian, but a balanced diet is important to help you think, improve your attention span. Sleep, so important. So important. Sleep deprivation can cause all sorts of things and make you feel like even the smallest little blip is the hugest obstacle. All right, a good night's sleep is really important. What else is really important? Exercise. Oh dear, exercise. 20 minutes a day, they say. So do what works for you. If you like going for a walk, go for a walk. Don't just join a gym because everyone's joining the gym. I couldn't think of anything worse. It's not what I want to do. Maybe I want to do yoga. Maybe I want to do boxing. So do what works for you. It might be getting up between classes, going for a walk around campus. We've got a really beautiful campus. Sometimes we get koalas in the trees out there, walk up to the hub, have a nice lunch. Just do something and get refreshed. Drink plenty of water. Your brain's about 75% water. It only takes about 2% dehydration before you start losing your attention span and memory and stuff like that. So drink lots of water. Okay? Which I'm about to have a drink of water in a minute. Anyone got questions so far? I don't know if that's good or bad. Does anyone at the front have questions so far?
Everyone switched in.
Yeah.
Stand up for me.
Stand up. I'm not going to make you do star jumps, so stand up and do something stretchy.
Wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. Wriggle, wriggle, wriggle.
Yep, get that blood moving back to your bottoms. Let's do Courtney next and then I think I'm racing through this. Big stretches. That's right.
Introduce yourself to a new person.
Do you need to talk like Carlene's saying you need to turn around and say hello to the person behind you? They might be in your class next week. Thank you, everyone. Fantastic. I hope you introduce yourself to the person behind you or next to you. They might be in your class next week. They might be your new study buddy. They might be your new best friend. They might be your new lifelong friend. So I'm going to do some self-care and have a drink of water. I'm going to hand over to Courtney, who is our special enrolment person. She'll tell you all sorts of good stuff. She's going to talk about your bundles. And you're thinking, what's a bundle? But she'll be able to tell you all that. Did you want this or did you want that microphone? You can have this one. Okay. And then placements will talk to you.
Hi, everybody. I am not a university lecturer, so this is not going to be a polished presentation at all. Public speaking is probably not my thing. And I've also just realised that I've spelt Will's last name wrong, so don't try and contact whatever Will that is up there because that's not him over there. I'll get the spelling right next time. So I'm Courtney, I'm the Coordinator of Enrolment and Student Progress. Will over here is the Enrolment and Course Advisor. So we're here to help with any student administration queries, questions, issues that you might have, and we prefer you to contact NHS Inquiries at flinders.edu.au, or you can submit an Ask Flinders request via the link up there, which you might already be aware of. Now, do I just do that? How do I flip the slide? Great. Okay, bundles. So if you've already enrolled for the entire year, you may have already come across the bundles. We have A or B bundles that students can pick from when they enrol. So it's basically there to ensure that the topics you're selecting won't clash, because you'll see if you pick an A topic and a B topic, then it might clash with your intensive or your placement, which means that you won't be able to fully complete the topic. We do ask that you enrol in topics for the entire year, as well as registering in all your classes. It's actually a two-step process. So enrolling in your topics is not just the only thing you have to do, you have to register in your classes as well. So if you find that all the classes are full, or if you have any clashes, then you can contact us via the Ask Flinders requests. Don't leave it to the last minute. We would prefer, if you have a clash, that you contact us and we work it out earlier rather than later, because the classes do get quite full and then it's hard to move students around. So in first year, your first semester is standard with the rest of the university. So you have your mid-semester break, so you've got the classes before the break and after the break, and then you've got your mid-year break. After first semester, it gets a little bit trickier. So this is where the bundles come in play, and half of you might be starting earlier and half of you might be finishing later. And that will continue throughout second year and third year. And again, it's just important that we really stick to the bundles, the A and the Bs, because don't expect that the system is smart enough to make sure you do the right thing. It really, really isn't. Technology is not necessarily our friend here when it comes to enrolment, so just make sure that you're double checking, and if you have any questions, you can just ask us. With having topics outside of those normal weeks, university weeks, you'll have a whole heap of different key dates for your topics. So you'll have a different start date, a different last enrolment date, a different census date, a different last withdraw date. So make sure that you're fully aware of each topic's key dates, and that if you need to withdraw for whatever reason, that you don't miss that key date, because you will be charged for the topic and you will get a mark or grade on your transcript. So just make sure you're aware of the key dates. So this is an example of the first year bundle, bundle A and bundle B. So you'll see that the first semester on the left is standard. So you've got 4 topics and they're all running at the same time. They're 12 weeks long, and you have that break in the middle, and that's the same as most of the other topics at the university. Second year, it gets a little bit more complicated. The red boxes are the placement blocks. So you can sort of see that if you picked an A topic in the top half, you picked an A topic and then you picked a B placement, they would clash. So you would not be able to do both at the same time. So that's just important that you follow the bundles. You can also see where you might be able to see that there's some topics that are online, and that's what the O symbols for online content. So these are an example of the study plans for the entire year. You should be able to find these on the website. We will also have some printed out for you downstairs at the nursing office. So you can see on the left there, that is the entire year 3 years for the Bachelor of Nursing. If you're in, and there's also a recommended part-time study plan as well, which will ensure, if you follow the recommended part-time study plan, it will ensure that you finish within we're 6 years, aren't we, that you have to finish your nursing degree in? Yes. So, but we can help you with that if you need. I should also say that it also has the prerequisites listed on there for you. And this is a BNGU-C, the Enrolled Nurse Entry Pathway Study Plan as well, which is slightly different to the BNGU. Email etiquette, you should all have a student email account. We recommend that you use that whenever you are corresponding with us because it's our way of identifying you. It's also really helpful if you just set up a signature with your full name, your student ID and the course that you're in, because we do get quite a lot of emails coming through, and it saves us a lot of time if we don't have to go searching for who you are. If you say, thanks from Melissa, there's a lot of Melissas. So if you just give us all the information, it'll really help us out. Make sure you're always professional, treat it as a professional correspondence with us, and make sure it's polite. We're, way more likely to help you if you're nice to us than if we get angry emails. And please don't use your personal email accounts because they can get lost. They can go to the junk mail. So if you can please use your Flinders email accounts. And now I think I'm done, and what everyone's been waiting for, the main event. There you go, Jodie.
Sounds like I've got a lot to live up to, doesn't it? All right. So my name's Jodie Price. I'm going to talk to you guys about the exciting stuff of placements. I'm just going to minimise all that.
So does anyone have questions before Courtney, or don't any questions for Courtney about your bundles, your timing, anything at all?
And I should also just say that there is enrolment support downstairs today and tomorrow. If anybody has any trouble, they need help, that they can go downstairs to the office, the nursing office.
I'm not used to students with no questions, so no one's got a question. Oh, great. Yay. Here.
So Charleston's A or B this year, will we choose one for next year?
Yeah, you won't be locked in. So if you choose A this year, you can choose B in second year. Hopefully we don't have C, D, E, F choices.
So question over here, so it's coming at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So you said we had to enrol for the year's topics. However, I tried to enrol for next semesters, but it wouldn't let me. Now that I'm enrolled, I'll start next week's classes. Should it let me enrol in it?
You should have been able to enrol. So you can, if you want to go down to the enrolment support downstairs, we'll be able to help you with that. Or if you're still having trouble, maybe submit an Ask Flinders request. But you should be able to enrol for the full year. And don't think that you get, just because you enrol, don't think that you get charged your fees straight away. There is separate census dates for second semester compared to first semester. Hi.
That's why you need to know about your census date. That means that you can, if it's all gotten too much by census date, which is a couple of weeks in, there's a certain, it's clearly in your compass and your key dates. If it's all too much and you need to withdraw for some topics, that's the time to do it before census, and then there's no financial accountability and you don't get anything on your transcript. So keep an eye on that, see how you're tracking, see if you can handle it for the rest of the semester. Otherwise, if it's after semester, you need to provide extenuating circumstances, otherwise that grade does end up on your transcript, and you do have to pay for it. So
it's not quite enrolment, but I was just wondering, after the first year, this is for like the 3 year, not just the enrolment, I heard something about being able to get jobs sort of related to nursing, but obviously you're not quite a registered nurse yet. So I was just wondering what those opportunities might be.
And I did forget to mention that's a very important thing. So this is why you need to go onto the BNGU course site that I showed you, that should be on your dashboard. I put announcements on there, so make sure your notifications are on. I put announcements up there of jobs coming up. So we have a number of organisations that will write to us to say, hey, we've got jobs for first years, or we've got jobs, they've got to have done a first year placement already, and then AINs or carers or whatever. So I'll put out a network through there, and as long as your notifications are on, they will come up. There should be people speaking, I would imagine, at our open day, otherwise, not open day, it is open day also, but at orientation somewhere who will talk about that. Otherwise, chat to me directly and I'll connect you with those services. But we do advertise them through the BN course, and if I put an announcement up, it goes to you as an email if your notifications are on. All right, let's find out about placements.
Oh, I think I put it in the wrong spot. Okay, guys, so my name's Jodie Price. I'm one of the placement education coordinators. I'll just get myself sorted here. And I'm going to talk to you about placement. Okay, that's the really cool stuff. That's why you're here, isn't it? You're here to learn how to look after patients. So that's what you're going to be doing. So the end of this year, in semester 2, we'll put you out on a 2-week placement block. In that placement block, you'll go to aged care placement, okay? Now, aged care is where you're going to get all of your basic ADL skills. You know, how to shower someone, how to help people with feeding and activities of daily living, okay? So all those really fundamental things that you need to develop in order to move on to develop those more complex things as you go on to 2nd and 3rd year, okay? So at the end of this year, you can expect, well, sometime from, I think it's about September, our placement blocks. Can't remember off the top of my head, and I haven't got my planner. And you'll get a 2-week placement block, all right? And then in 2nd year, you'll get 2 4-week blocks. One in semester 1, one in semester 2, and then in 3rd year, you'll get 2 8-week blocks, all right? So it's really important, as Danelle mentioned before, when you're on placement, you can't work. The reason for that is occupational health and safety. If you're working 7 days a week, you can't provide safe care to people, all right? So you need to focus on your placement and not do any paid work. So what you need to do in the lead up to that is have a special bank account put aside that's your placement bank account. As you work up and towards your placement, work a bit more, work a bit extra, put money into that account so that when you're on placement, you've got money sitting there ready to go, okay? Then you don't get yourself into any trouble. So I'm just going to take you to the Flinders University website and show you how to find out about placement. So if you type in Flinders University, forgot what letter I was up to then. I've missed a letter, that's why. Nursing placements. You will find what you need to find. Okay, so here you are here. So click on that and that will give you all of the information you need about placements. So this, for the next 3 years of your life, needs to be your little Bible that you come to. Okay, this gives you everything you need to know about placements. So just going to take you through the first part here. So placements can occur in blocks, but in saying that, sometimes we have to move outside of that block. Okay? So be prepared that at times your placement might be happening at a different time to that block for whatever reason. All right? And that would be communicated to you. That wouldn't just be sprung on you at the last minute. It will include shift work. So you're coming into with the nursing profession, you are going to be a nurse. Nurses work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay, so when you're on placement, you will be expected to work early shifts and night shifts and late shifts and weekends and public holidays. Okay? All right, that is getting you prepared for what you're going to do for the rest of your working career. Okay, so you get those lovely late early shifts where you finish one night at 10:30 and you start the next morning at 7:15. Okay, by the time you get home, get to bed, you get about 5 or 6 hours sleep. That's pretty normal, isn't it? Yeah. Yep. So, welcome to nursing. It's a great profession though, it is so good. Nursing is such an exciting job to be in. I've been a nurse since 1992. I graduated in 1991. Okay, so that's 30 years or something. Geez, that makes me sound really old, doesn't it? Yes, yes. Okay, but it is a fantastic career. My career is in ICU, where I worked for a long time, same as Omar. And Janelle was emergency, ED. Okay, so it's just such an exciting career to have. It can take you many, many places. As Janelle said, it's your passport to freedom once you get that. Okay, you can work anywhere you want to across the world. All right, so the other thing to think about is when you have a placement, you are expected to do at least one rural placement. All right, and that rural placement could be Victor Harbour, it could be Mount Gambier, it could be Cooper We do send some students to the Northern Territory, okay, so that could be Darwin, it could be Alice Springs, it could be Nullarbor, Gove, it could be working in the remote outback of Alice Springs with remote area nurses visiting Aboriginal communities. Fantastic opportunities, okay, such cool things to learn in a rural placement. All right, I always tell the students about when you're in a rural environment, you know, something might happen in the little country town, might be a car accident, something like that. You're going to get that MedStar retrieval team coming into your hospital with the helicopter, and in they trot, taking those patients that are critically unwell to the metropolitan hospitals, okay? You're not going to get that experience in a metropolitan hospital. You're only going to get that in a rural environment, okay? So such good learning to be happening in those areas and so exciting. So throughout your degree, you will get at least one rural placement. You will get an aged placement. You will get surgical medical wards. You'll get a specialty placement, which is like ICU, ED, theatre, something like that. Okay, so you'll get a wide range of experiences as well for your placement. We're setting you up to be a registered general nurse, so we need to give you lots and lots of different experiences throughout your degree. Okay, if you guys have got any questions, put your hand up and someone will rove around with a microphone, okay? Because I'm sure we will get questions as we go along. All right, when you do get a rural placement, is there a question already? Oh, okay, go for it.
How long are rural placements go for?
Depends. If you're going in first year, it'll be 2 weeks. If you're going in second year, it'll be 4 weeks. If you're going in third year, it'll be 8 weeks. And when you have a rural placement, it's up to you to organise your accommodation and your transport. Okay, so you might, some students, if they're going to the Northern Territory, drive, some fly. Some of that cost is reimbursed through the college office, and there's information on that on the site. Yeah.
I already have two. Does rural count if you live there? Sort of like, yeah, sweet. And do you have classes during placement?
No. Brilliant. So placement itself is standalone. When you're on placement, that is all you're doing. Okay, you are concentrating, you are working full time on placement. So we want you to be 100% engaged, sorry. Yeah, we want you to be 100% engaged, no outside work, in the zone. All right? Placement can be like a job interview, especially when you get into second year and third year, because you're working on the ward. They see what you're doing. They might approach you for an AIN job. Or if you're in your third year placements, they might think, we've got TPPs coming up, I really want you, please apply. Okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Otherwise, we'll hold questions until the end because Jodie might cover it. But yeah.
With rural placement, can you have like your own preferences of where you want to go?
Yep. So every semester we put out rural self-select through an email, and that comes out. There'll be whatever locations we have available, and people can self-select those, okay? They go pretty quickly, so you need to get on there pretty quick because they're like little hot potatoes. All right? Okay, no other questions
I think we'll just
yet?
leave some questions until the end. We've got time at the end of placements and time at the end of the session because Jodie may very well cover some of the content you might have to ask.
Yep. So in order to go on placement, Janelle talked about PEP topics. You will do your PEP topic and your placement is linked with your PEP topic, okay? When you're undertaking that PEP topic, there are hurdle requirements that you must pass. For example, medication calculation tests, Obviously, you need to get 100% for them. We need to keep our patients safe. Okay, we can't just get medications right 50% of the time, because then 50% of our patients are, experiencing adverse effects from a medication that we've administered incorrectly. Okay, so we need to get it right 100% of the time. So that's one hurdle. The other hurdle will be in your clinical intensive, where you need to come in and undertake skills and display your understanding and knowledge around certain concepts related to that topic. Once you pass those things and any other hurdles that may be in your topic, you then are ready to go on placement. Okay? The other thing that you will need to do in order to be ready to go on placement is meet compliance. So our industry partners, which are SA Health, our private venues, NT Health, aged care partners, all require certain things for us to send you to their placement venues, because you are visitors in their venues. They don't know you. Okay, so you need to meet certain criteria, which is called your placement compliance. This is really important. We will be coming around in the first week next week, visiting classes, telling you all about compliance, because if you don't meet compliance, you do not get a placement. Okay? And then that means coming back next year and wasting a whole year. Okay? Now, the compliance is set by industry. It's not set by us. So we don't say you need these things, but industry. The industry that you are going to work in for the rest of your career says you need them. And this is something that you are going to have to keep doing as a registered nurse. Every year you have to maintain your compliance. Okay? So I can't reiterate how important this is. I'm going to show you the website. I want you guys to go home tonight and have another look at it. And I want you to start your compliance tonight. Okay? Because I don't want to have to meet with any of you because you're not compliant. All right? Because then it's delivering the bad news that you don't get a placement. So we want you to get compliant. So if you have a look here on this site, it's a very long site, and I'll take you down the bottom of it in a minute. There's the nursing calendar here. Now this tells you your compliance date. So for 1027B, your compliance date is the 12th of July. In fact, it's the 12th of July for all of 1027. You might think, oh, that's ages away. I've got heaps of time. Well, actually you haven't, because July will be with us before we know it. And things like hepatitis B vaccines can take up to 6 months to get organised. Now, between now and then, you might not. You might just have 6 months, okay, if we, provide extensions and things like that. So some of these criteria for compliance take a long time to organise, so you need to get organised now. We'll go back to the site. There's a pre-compliance checklist. So this is a checklist that you will be required to upload to on a database called InPlace. Okay? So InPlace is where you will go to know where your placement is going to be. All right? So it will tell you where your placement's going to be. So you might be going to the Royal Adelaide Hospital emergency department. It will tell you the venue that you're going, and it will tell you the facilitator that you have. So you will always have a facilitator, either from the university or from the venue itself, that looks after you, okay? That helps you while you're there, that you can go to if you've got any questions or concerns. All right, did you just make that bigger? Thank you. All right, so this is a really big document, all right? What I want you guys to do is print it off, okay? Have a look at it and work out how you're going to work through these things. All right? So it's very long. There's things like police checks, TB screening, immunisation. There's some things on there that can be done very, very quickly. So there are electronic things that you do online, okay? So like your EMR, so your electronic medical record keeping. So you go online, do a little bit of a course, pass the little test that they give you, print off your certificate, done, upload that certificate to InPlace, okay? One thing done. Woohoo, good start, okay? So there's lots of things you can do tonight if you want to, okay? Go in there, have a look. So this is the form that once you have got this completed with everything ticked off, you'll upload to InPlace, which is the database. We have a placements team that work down in the office. They go through every single student and check their compliance, and they will check this document with a fine-tooth comb, okay? Because industry is relying on us and relying on you to make sure that we get all these things completed so that they know when you go to placement, you haven't done anything bad like robbing a bank, okay? Really, really important, because remember, you are a visitor in their venue. They're letting you in, they are letting you look after vulnerable people, okay? So they need to make sure that you meet all of this criteria. All right, so if we go back to the site, there's also another link here. So these yellow buttons are really important, okay? Just going to increase that a little bit more. So this is the compliance process. So when you're working through your compliance, there's a link to the calendar, which is that calendar I showed you to start with. There's a link here for your checklist, which is this checklist here that I showed you, okay? Then there's things, you know, about how to use InPlace. So there's a link there for InPlace. That's that database I was talking about that you will upload this document to and that you will check and see your placement, okay? There's information about what do I do if I can't meet compliance. Now we know that things happen and we know that sometimes they're untoward. All right, so if you are unable to meet that compliance date of the 12th of July, you can go into this link here and put a variation request in. All right, sorry, not a variation, an extension request in. All right, so we then review that extension and decide if we can give you an extension or not on your compliance. Now, if you can show us that you've been working on your compliance and really started early and getting all of those things done, we're likely to give you an extension. But if you come to us on the 7th of July and it's due on the 12th of July and you haven't done anything, we're not going to give you an extension, okay? So make sure that you're being proactive and make sure that you're doing these things early. Okay, so that then goes down to, you know, uploading your documents and what to do if something goes wrong. Okay? So I want you to print off that. I want you to print off the checklist here. And I want you to print off the calendar. That calendar obviously changes every year. Those dates change every year, so you need to print a new one off every year. Have it somewhere handy so that you know the compliance date that you're due for your topic. All right? Now, I'll just go back to the site. So remember how we found that site? We just put in nursing, placement, Flinders University. That site pops up. And then on that site are those 3 yellow buttons. Those yellow buttons are really, really important. Okay? Now, if we go down here and click on these little buttons, it tells you more about each compliance area. Just check how we're going for time, because we could talk about this for hours, compliance, like we could go on for the rest of the day, really, but we can't do that. We've got limited time and there will be questions. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly take you through these areas. So first of all, fitness for practice. So this tells us that you are declaring that you are fit physically and mentally to go on to placement. Okay, so have you got deficits that need to be considered? If you have, you need to make a meeting with either Leanne or myself as the placement education coordinators. We'll talk to you about them and we'll work a plan through with you. Can those deficits be overcome in a timely fashion to get you on placement, or do we need to look at other pathways for you? Do we need to look at other study plans for you? All right. Some people might have had a workplace injury, for example, and they need 12 months to recover. If you've got an injury, we can't put you on placement. You need to be 100% fit, physically and mentally, to go on placement. Okay? Because remember, you're going to be looking after other people when you're out there on placement. That's the exciting thing. Putting all of those things that you learn in the lab and in your classes into practice. Okay? Really exciting. All right. So here you're just basically declaring that you're fit to go and practice. You say, yes, I am fit, mentally and physically, to be able to undertake placement. Okay? Now, this part of the website is really, really important because it tells you everything you need to do for that particular area of compliance. It will also tell you how often you need to do it. So some of the things need to be done every 6 months. Some of them need to be done every year. Some need to be done every 3 years. So it will basically cover you for the whole 3 years if you just do it once and you're doing the 3-year pathway and don't extend. Okay? We'll give you all of this information here. So there's some, fairly simple ones there. If we go on to some of these more complex ones, so COVID-19 vaccinations. So we have to show our venue partners that our students are vaccinated with minimum 3 COVID vaccines. Okay? That is the law at the moment. You would have seen people going through court, registered nurses, doctors who have not had their vaccinations. They cannot work. Okay? They are going through a big court case at the moment to see what can happen with that. All right? But, so if you are a student and you haven't been vaccinated, we won't be able to give you a placement the way the law stands at the moment. Okay? So think about that. If you haven't had vaccines, get them. If you have concerns around them, then you need to make an appointment to meet with us. All right? Your DHS screening. So you've got your aged care screening, you're working with children, your NDIS worker check. It'll give you instructions on here about how to go about these. So if I click on this one, for example, it'll take you down here to show you this is what you do for this clearance, and it will take you to the website. It gives you a guide, okay? So all you've got to do is click on there and it'll give you a guide to doing that, and it will take you to the DHS website with more information, okay? This is such an important site, all right? It'll give you everything you need to know. So if we go back up to where we were, we've lost our spot now, but here we are. Same with NDIS. Click on that, it'll take you to that area, okay? International police check. So if you have been overseas, lived overseas for 12 months in the past 10 years, you will require an international police check from that country, okay, before going on placement. So that's something else that you need to arrange if you fit into that category. Okay, so some international students will fit into that category, so you need to just be thinking about that. It also needs to be in English, because obviously we can't read something if it's in Chinese or Korean or whatever. Okay, so it needs to be in English. There's an aged care statutory declaration. Again, this will link you to the PDF. You need to print that off and follow the instructions, then upload that to InPlace. Okay? So all of the information you need is here. So the TB screening test. So again, there's a package there and there's a link to a questionnaire. So you need to go in and do the questionnaire about TB. It will then rank, some database ranks that questionnaire and tells you what you need to do next. Whether you're fine, no problem, or whether you need to have further investigations done at the RA TB clinic. Okay? Your immunisation compliance certificate. Now this one is quite a big document. So we're going to just open up this and I'll make this bigger. So this document here, you need to get completed by your doctor. So for some of you, it will mean digging up your old records of immunisations that mum might have or dad might have from when you were a baby. Taking that information of your vaccine evidence with this document to your doctor. They need to complete this and say that yes, you've had these immunisations or that you have shown immunity through a blood test. This can take time. Okay, so I want you to start on this ASAP. Print it off, take it to your doctor, work out where you're at with your vaccinations, fill it all in, okay? This can be a very big time consuming thing, especially when it comes to Hep B. So with your Hep B vaccines, most of you I would have thought would have had them at school, but if you haven't had them at school or you have no evidence of having them, you need to start a new regime, okay? And that takes 6 to 7 months, all right? So you have your first vaccine, a month later you have another one, 6 months from that first one you have your third one, a month after that you have to have a blood test, and then you have to go back to the doctor and get the results of that blood test. So there's 7 months there, okay? So find out, have you had hepatitis B vaccines? Are you, are you showing antibodies to that? So you also need a blood test to show that you have immunity to that. If you haven't got immunity to Hep B, which we're seeing more and more of lately, I'm not sure why that is, but Leanne and I are seeing quite a number of students that aren't immune to Hep B despite vaccinations. You need to go back to your doctor and they might recommend that you have another one, a booster. And then, have you responded to that one? Yes, no. Doctor decides what to do after that. You may be designated then as a Hep B non-responder. So no matter how many vaccines you have, your body doesn't develop immunity to it. And then, again, Leanne or myself will meet with you and discuss how to keep yourself safe on placement, okay? Because you possibly will be looking after patients with Hep B, all right? So it's about how to keep yourself safe if you haven't developed that immunity to Hep B, all right? So that's probably the biggest thing on this particular checklist, along with the COVID vaccines, okay? So I would really strongly recommend that you print that off and have a dig around tonight for your vaccination status. Now, have I lost my... I think I've lost my thingy. Or not? I have. Right, let's just do another Google there. Lost my page for some reason. Oh, I could do that too. You're very clever. Look at that. Hang on. What's happened there? There we go. Technology isn't my friend. Okay, so going back to this area here. So COVID-19, we talked about the, where were we at? Immunisation compliance. Flu vax. You have to have a flu vax every year and it has to be the current flu vax. So for this year, you have to have the 2024 flu vax. Usually they come out about April. Okay, so once that comes out, get it done. All right, you will need that for placement. If you don't have it, you can't go on placement. Manual handling and CPR, you will need to get done every year. And it has to be a practical course, okay? It can't just be a theory online course. It has to have a practical component for manual handling and CPR. Because as a nurse, guess what you're going to be doing? Manual handling and possibly CPR. Okay, so you need to know how to do those things safely and correctly. Yes?
Are there any specific organisations
yes.
that have...
Yes. No, well, yes and no. If you click here, it will give you, a list of areas you can go to, okay? So IntelliLearn is a really big provider of manual handling and CPR courses, and they do it on campus. So they usually come here. Have we got dates for this year yet? No. So usually they would come here beginning of the year. They set up over in the labs and they run on-campus courses. If they don't do them here on campus, they're available across Adelaide, okay? So there's IntelliLearn, there's St John Ambulance, there's First Aid Pro, there's Red Cross. So there's 5 different providers there that you can go to, okay? And it gives you the criteria that you need.
Is it about manual handling?
Yep. It has to be less than 12 months old when you go on placement. So it has to be able to cover you for going on placement, okay? So it has to be less than 12 months old at the end of your placement date as well, okay? Hand hygiene. Hand hygiene has become one of the most important things in the past 4 years, hasn't it, with COVID? If COVID hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us that our hands are the most important part of, monitoring and managing disease transmission and things like that, okay? So you need to do a hand hygiene certificate that you need to print off and upload to InPlace. There's also blood safe transfusion, because as a registered nurse and as a student nurse, you will be involved in transfusion processes in second year and third year, not in first year, okay? You'll do that in the lab as well in second year. So in the nursing labs, you'll do all of this exciting stuff. They're mannequins, but you have to sort of pretend they're real. Some of the mannequins talk to you. Some of the mannequins breathe and have bow sounds and breath sounds and all that sort of cool stuff. But that's where you're going to learn how to do these things, okay? And then you'll go out on placement and put those things into practice with real people. So important to practice on the mannequins first, not practice on real people. Okay, EMR record training, which is what I talked about before, and then mask fit testing. So the other thing that came out of COVID is that healthcare workers were required to wear really tight-fitting N95 masks. Okay, now if they're not tight-fitting, they don't protect you and they don't protect the patient. So what we have is a special machine that you will get hooked up to, that they'll put different sized masks on, and they'll decide what size mask fits your face. So that you basically have a, what's the word? Bespoke, that'll do, mask size for your face, okay? And they give you that information, and that's the information you upload to InPlace, okay? And you take that to placement. Now at the moment, some venues are not masking at all. Other venues are just having surgical masks. If there is a COVID outbreak in a ward environment, they will quickly go back to N95s. So that's why you need to have that fit testing done, okay? And if you're working in, with patients that are really immunocompromised, they will wear masks all the time. Okay, so then if you go down here and click on these areas, so I'm just going to go back to the top, okay? So you've got your 3 buttons. You've got the area that we've just gone through with little links to everything, okay? You've then got this area that gives you more detailed information about each area of compliance, okay? So it's really important that you work your way through this tonight and start getting your compliance organised. As I said, I know you've got until July, but I don't want to be in a position where you guys are coming to me in the last week saying, I haven't done anything or I haven't got this or this, because then that means you won't get a placement, okay? And our placements are really, really tight. We only get a certain number of placements. So if people aren't compliant by that due date, without evidence of extenuating circumstances and applying for an extension, we can't give you a placement, okay? All right? So it's really, really important. If you click down here, police check, international police check, there's more information there. Police check, there's information there as well, and there's links you can click on to SAPOL to apply for that police check, okay? Obviously you need forms of ID and that sort of thing to do that. There's information about your immunisations, and that's where you will find that compliance document that we had up here, which was not that one. I got rid of it, didn't I? Yes, I did. Not going to open it again because it will mess up my page. Okay, so it tells you all about all the different areas of immunisation compliance there as well, and about your Hep B. So the main problem that we find with immunisation is COVID-19 and Hep B, okay? So Hep B, if you are a non-responder, we work with you. COVID-19, unfortunately, if you haven't had them done, we can't give you a placement at this point with the way the legislation is, okay? CPR, we've talked about, manual handling. Down here, it's got some information about preparation for placement. So some videos about students that have been on placement. There's one about the Northern Territory with one of our old students in it. Really interesting information there about your placement and about advice. Uniform. As Danelle mentioned this morning, uniform people are Valerie Travis, and they are in the decaf today. They will have tops for you to try on and get your sizes. You will need your uniform to be in the laboratory environment, okay, because that is a clinical working space where you are practicing to be a student registered nurse. So you will be required to wear uniform. If you're not in uniform, you will be sent home, okay? We're really strict on that because you're coming into a profession. You need to look professional. Once you put that uniform on, you put yourself in that position, that professional sort of mindset, okay? Yes. So when you are on placement and in the labs, nothing dangly off of your ear, because patients can grab that. If patients become confused and disorientated, they don't mean to, but sometimes they can grab that. I've seen nurses have earrings ripped out of their ears. Okay? Same with necklaces. You can't wear necklaces. People might grab necklaces. Rings with stones in them, don't wear them. I was working once with a girl who bought her fancy engagement ring to work. She'd only got engaged the day before. On that shift, she got it caught in the side of the bed, and there went the diamond. Okay? The other things are you can take home germs in your rings, okay, around the diamonds. We won't talk about the type of germs that you can take home, but you can probably imagine with the things that we do as nurses, all right? Not nice. Nail polish, no false nails. False nails and nail polish are a carrier for microorganisms, okay? You cannot have false nails or nail polish in the labs or on placement. And you need to have short nails, because if you're looking after an elderly patient and you're helping them with ADLs or moving them in the bed, you can very easily cause skin tears on their skin from long nails. Okay? Not nice. So we need to make sure that your nails are short. All right, so the uniform for nursing is a royal blue vest or tunic, whatever you want to call it, scrub top, and blue or black pants, okay? And you need filled-in shoes, not sneakers, not runners, nothing that fluid can go through, all right? Because if you're looking after a patient and you're carrying a bedpan and something happens with that bedpan and it goes on your feet, guess what you're getting on your feet? Not water, okay? So they need to be waterproof shoes. Same if you're showering a patient. You're going to be in the shower with the patient. Your feet are going to get wet, all right? So they need to be waterproof.
And invest in really good nursing shoes. You're on your feet a long time.
Yes, they need to be good quality. You need to spend a bit of money on your shoes because you are going to be on your feet for a long time. 8 hours. Sometimes in an 8-hour shift, you don't get to sit down. The only time you get to sit down is when you go to the toilet or you have your lunch, okay? Otherwise, you're walking.
But it is a great industry, despite all.
It's very good. Busy is good, okay? When you're out there, you're looking after patients, you're providing care, you're helping people when they're at their most vulnerable. I just can't express how important it is. It's a fantastic profession to get into. We'll come to your question in a minute. So yeah, I would encourage you to go down to the cafe today, try on a top, and they do have some pants. I don't think you can try on the pants, but you can eyeball the pants. You don't have to get the pants through Valerie Travis. You can get the pants anywhere as long as they meet the requirements on the website, okay? Shoes can come from anywhere, but the tops have to be Valerie Travis. They have to have our logo on them. All right, you also need a badge. How are we going for time? We're not too bad. Okay, so the badges, it tells you here how to obtain your badge. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. You can have a look at that, but you need to have your badge for clinical is different from your student ID card. Okay, usually your badge for clinical will just have your first name, that's all, and a photo of you. Okay, very different from your other badge or your other student ID card. Now, we do have preclinical meetings. They're not on campus anymore. I'm getting them to update this website. They're online. So those preclinical meetings are attached to your placement topics. You're required to attend them. They're usually 3 till 5 in the afternoon, online, 2 hours. The topic coordinator runs them. You get to find out information about your placement. You might get to meet your facilitator who will tell you information about the area that you're going to. Okay? Really exciting, really important that you attend. Now, medication management. As a student registered nurse, there are guidelines there for medication management. You must be under the supervision of a registered nurse at all times when you're giving medication, and you won't give medication until second year. Okay? You'll do a lot of the cool stuff in first year though. Any problems and concerns, you go to the placement team downstairs, who are located in the college office. Your topic coordinator will also know some information about placement, but you're better off to go to that placement team, and then you're getting the right information from the right people. Okay, Leanne and myself can also help if needed. All right. Okay. Just keep going down here. The other really important thing while you're on placement is to remember that everything is confidential. So you can't go home and talk about what you did on placement or who you looked after. You can't go to the shop and be talking to your friend on the phone, yeah, I looked after Mrs. So-and-so today and her wound was really great, you know, because Mrs. So-and-so's daughter could be behind you. All right? So confidentiality is extremely important. What happens on placement stays on placement, doesn't come outside. Okay? We'll talk about that more in your topics.
That goes for your career as a nurse as well, though.
Absolutely.
I don't go home. You can go home and debrief and not discuss a situation, a person's name, so with colleagues, but certainly no names or identifiers at all now that you're in nursing. Yep,
absolutely. Even sometimes situations are enough to identify patients to someone that might know what's going on. You know, you might be just talking about a wound or a particular incident that happened with a patient, and the person behind you thinks, well, hang on, that's my dad you're talking about. All right? So it's really important that you maintain confidentiality. Okay, so in terms of rural placements, I won't go into detail now because I know we've got 20 minutes left and we'll probably have questions, but there's a lot of information on there about rural placements, and we do have a rural preclinical meeting for every placement block that Leanne and myself run where we talk about rural placements. Okay, but I would strongly encourage you to do rural placements. You are going to get a totally different experience than having metropolitan placements. And it's something that in your career you might not get to do. I've never worked as a rural nurse. Okay, I've only ever been a metro nurse. So I've never had that experience. I wish I had it as a student because at least I would have had a taste of it. Okay, so it's really important to get that experience now. You can just get that little taste, see if you like it. Okay, questions?
Question time, everyone.
There was a question here and a question there. Question there. I guess you're going to do the running. Okay. Whoa. Just wait for the mics to come around. We usually get lots of questions around placements.
All right. I don't know how to play it. Is there any sort of like special consideration for like students that have small children? Like I know that I have to do a rural placement, but going to like Alice Springs is not necessarily ideal. No. So with the Northern Territory placements, they're bespoke placements, and we ask students to put an expression of interest for them. Okay, so they're seen as quite elite placements actually, the Northern Territory. Very cool placements. If you have extenuating circumstances such as a small family that would limit your ability to go rural, you're asked to make a meeting with Leanne and myself to discuss that. Okay, but when we say rural, I talked to a student the other day who didn't want to go for a rural placement. She lived down south, way down south, and I said, well, Victor Harbour's rural. You're probably better off going to Victor Harbour than you are going to the Lower Mac. And she said, oh, okay. So then we put in a request that if she has rural placement, it will be Victor Harbour or Yankalilla or somewhere down south. Okay, so it still doesn't rule you out from rural. You can go somewhere quite close. Yeah.
I had a question about COVID vaccinations.
Yes.
As an international student, the 2 doses for the vaccination have worked out rightly for me till now. Will I need to have the 3rd dose as...
Yes. Yep. So you have to go to the website and see what COVID vaccines are accepted by Australia. If they're accepted, that's okay. Otherwise, talk to your doctor about that.
So the COVID documentation will do, or will the COVID vaccination antibody tests will be done as well?
You can't have a test for COVID vaccine levels in your body. We've just got the evidence of having those COVID vaccines. So what I would suggest you do is take all of your evidence to the doctor. If you haven't got a doctor, the Flinders University Health Service, and they will go through it all with you and work out what you might need to have.
Oh, thanks.
Okay. Yes?
Just a question about police clearances.
Yep.
If you have an NV1, will that comply?
An MV1, sorry.
It's a negative vetting one, so it's like almost a top secret. Will that comply?
Oh, I have no idea, mate. No idea. you need to probably go to the site for that.
And
That's
fine,
probably
okay.
beyond my pay scope.
Yep, no worries.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Beyond my scope of practice, yeah. Yep.
Can you do more than one rural placement?
Yes, absolutely. We would recommend that you do some metro because you're going to get different experiences in both. But if you're keen to do rural, yeah, we can support you with that. We often meet with anyone from a rural environment or Northern Territory background to set up sort of placement experiences if you plan to return to rural as a registered nurse or the NT. So if you're in that situation, you can contact us and make a meeting. Yep.
So I've done all like the hand hygiene and all that stuff through the same people for work. Is that still, can I still do that, or do I have to do it again?
If it's the exact same certificate, yes, but it has to be covering you less than 12 months at the end of your placement date. Okay, so it's online. I just go and do it again. Then you got it fresh. Yep.
If you
Where
get
are
an,
we? Oh, there. Sorry.
Yeah. If you get an injury like midway through your placements, and you're unable to like continue it, do you obviously take a break till you're healed and then continue like the duration of time left, or do you have to restart the placements?
So we would work with you to discuss that with you on an individual basis. Okay, so we have, excuse me, sorry. I'm going to get a frog in my throat from talking too much.
It'll depend also on how far into the placement you are.
That's
if it's
right.
week one.
Yeah, it depends. We would work with you individually on that. Depends on the injury, depends on how long you're going to be out for. You know, we get students out with COVID for a week. If you get COVID, you still can't go to placement for a week. Some places are 2 weeks still. Okay? Yep.
What happens if you fail a hurdle? Like, do you get a chance to try it again?
Do you want this?
So it depends what the hurdle is. If it's a placement, no. So we need you to pass your placement. So if you've been unsuccessful on placement, it's because you've been deemed unsafe. So you then need to go back into the topic again to relearn those things. If it's your medication safety calculation, for example, so students get very stressed about that, you get like 3 attempts roundabout to do it. And there's plenty of practice time, there's quizzes that you can just practice and practice and practice. And we're not going to give you really, really hard things. There's scaffolding so that you understand how to do them. You just have to apply yourself. With those ones, you will get another opportunity. The other hurdles, which are skills on placement, skills on the
skills
intensives.
in the intensive.
So the intensives, there's a skill a day to sign off. And also ensuring that you're turning up because you need to do your 24 hours of clinical skills. On the last day, you have a 20-minute demonstration of safety for practice. So during that, you're given a scenario of a patient that you've worked on in the last 3 days in the lab, and you're asked to do a small skill, might be taking a blood glucose level or something like that, and then you're asked 4 questions or 5 questions from a designated assessment team. So you do need to pass that. If you, during that 20 minutes, lose the plot and say all the wrong things, you'll get some feedback and you'll get the opportunity to come back the next day, but you don't get anything after that. Because we will give you feedback to say, oh, you know, you probably need to focus a little bit more on the pharmacology or the nursing care or an element to give you some guidance, and then you come back and you show us that you're safe. The purpose of that intensive week is to show you a safer placement, okay? So don't get frightened about it now. We scaffold and provide lots of supporting theory and knowledge to you so that you are successful. We're not going to give you something to a 3rd year level and expect that you're able to do it. We don't try and fail you, okay?
Very supportive, and we'll always scaffold and do different skills, yep.
How do you apply for placements?
You don't have to apply for placements. If you're enrolled in a placement topic, you will automatically be allocated a placement in that placement block that you're enrolled in. The only time you need to apply for a placement is if you want to do a rural placement, and when that rural self-select email comes out, you can go in there and have a look what's on offer and put your preference in. But like I said, they go really quickly, okay? Or there's an email that will come out about Northern Territory placements, and then you can apply for that as well. But again, it will be in your placement block. Yes.
what happens if like you've applied for your different certificates, like your DHS one, and it's not actually going through, and you're not able to access the website to put it through?
So,
I don't know, it's not letting me in.
okay, I'm not sure about that. You would need to contact the placements team perhaps that could help you in the background. Yeah, yep. Yes.
Just with the rural placement, is Darwin also considered rural? Like,
absolutely.
So all of NT? Yeah.
Absolutely. So we go Darwin, we do 8-week placement at Royal Darwin. We've also got Palmerston, Nhulunbuy, Gove. We do a 4-week, well, depending on when you're going. If you're going in second year, you do a 4-week placement. If you go up to Alice Springs in third year, you do a 4-week in Alice Springs and a 4-week in rural and remote. And we go to Catherine as well, and Tennant Creek. Yes.
Is there like multiple spots for like the same rural placement?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it depends. I say yes, but then I say depends. Sometimes a rural hospital is quite small, can only take one student. Okay. Sometimes a rural hospital is quite big, say Mount Gambier, they might be able to take 2 students. Did I say patient before? Did I say students? I thought I said patient. Yeah. Yeah, I meant students. Yes.
Yeah, if we apply for the NT and Darwin placements, like, are you guaranteed a spot?
Not guaranteed, no. Okay, so it's fairly competitive. You're asked to address a number of questions. Those questions are then reviewed by a panel who then decide who gets the option to go there. Okay, so it just, the link to the questionnaire where you respond to the questions is provided in the email. Yep. It is very competitive, the Northern Territory placements.
If you find you need a vaccine, do you provide them on campus? Like, is there somewhere you can get them done here?
So there's the Flinders University Health Service on main campus that you can book into. It's just like a normal GP service. Yep. Otherwise you go to your normal GP.
Is there a grace period between getting your uniform? Because I think I'm scheduled for a class in the lab next week and I don't have a uniform.
Okay, well usually there is a grace period. What you would need to do is just explain that to the topic coordinator that you haven't quite got your uniform yet, and perhaps get a blue polo shirt or something that's a similar colour, and make sure you dress professionally. Okay?
If you could not come to labs with your active gear and midriffs and your little football shorts, we would expect you to be dressed in a professional manner when you're going to the labs. So if you don't have the uniform, like Jodie said, well dressed with dark pants and a polo shirt of something.
Hang on, we got one here first, yep.
Like while filling the documentation which we have to sign from the doctor, like we have some of the medications from different country by being an international student. So is it possible like we visit to any of the doctor here and get signed from him by showing them the evidence of that?
So that's for immunisations?
Yep.
So like I said before, print off everything you have, take it to the doctor with the form, they will make that decision. Okay, because I don't know what immunisations you've had in your country and how they compare to Australia, so the doctor needs to decide that.
All right, and can we show our expression of interest like while choosing the areas for the placement?
Sorry, say that again?
Like can we apply for the expression of interest by choosing our own areas for the placement? Like if we want to go to this place, can we like show?
So rural, yes. If you're interested in a metropolitan placement and you say, I'd really like to go to Flinders Medical Centre orthopaedic ward, we can put a note on your file for that, but there is no guarantee you will get that, okay? Because we have, I think the team manages about 3,000 placements a year, and we only get a certain number of placements from our venue partners anyway. So you might be in a block, you really want to go to Flinders Medical Centre orthopaedics, but we might not have that anyway to offer you. Okay, so it depends on what the SA Health give us at that time as well. Yeah. Who's next? Yes. There's one here then, Danelle.
As far as uniforms go, are we able to purchase them today at the fair?
I think so. I don't know though. Okay. Just go down there, suss it out, try it on. I'm sure you can purchase there as well.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just here, Danelle. And there's one over there too. Yes?
With metro placements, do you get any preference with them, or do you just get put wherever?
The placement team will always look at the location that you live and try and put you within an hour of your home location. As I said, you can say you're interested in going to a particular area, but we may or may not be able to support that. Okay? Yeah.
So after uploading stuff in place, do we get like a tick off that's correct?
So the placement team, once everything's uploaded, the placement team will go in and review and let you know if anything's incorrect. Well, no, just as you do things, upload it. They'll check it off as you go.
You'll see little green lights. So if it's red, it needs to be done. If it's green, good to go.
Absolutely. So the more you can upload, like if you went home tonight and did the EMR and the hand hygiene and stuff like that, upload it tonight. I'd be really proud if any of you can upload that tonight. Chocolate frog right there. Yes, yes, yes.
Is there any equipment you need before you start?
Uniform. Some people buy their own stethoscope. You don't need to. You can if you want to. The risk is you take it on placement and lose it. So yeah, it just depends. That's about it, really. Yeah. Some people buy pen light torches, that sort of thing. Yeah. Hang on, sorry, yep.
Yeah, hi. With immunisation, my parents don't have a copy because it's been a long time since I was little. Will my doctor be able to find that out with that paperwork?
So you'd probably have blood tests then to show immunity to different things, and they can sort that out. Yep. Yes.
On rural placements, is all the costs like sorted out, or do we pay for accommodation and flights?
So with rural placements, you do pay for accommodation and your flights and your transport and your food and all that sort of thing. There is some reimbursement depending on if you meet the criteria, which is on the placement website that you can have a look at, that you will get a percentage of some of your expenses back. Okay, your travel and your accommodation. But it's not all of it, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay? Yes. Yep.
Yeah, with the immunisation, just like the lady said before, what about if you can't find any of it?
So as I said, go to your doctor, explain you need this form filled out, but you can't find any records, they'll do blood tests. And then what they'll do is they'll tick on the sheet, proven by a blood test. Yep, okay. Here.
For rural placements, is there opportunities for financial support? So instead of the reimbursements, is there beforehand scholarships or anything that can help you?
You can apply for scholarships. Yes, there's many scholarships.
Okay.
If you live in the rural area, having done orientation to the Riverland last week, time flies.
Last year.
There are specific regional scholarships you can get. Easy to get to through, I think it's called Destination Australia or something like that, but it'll be also through our sites. But check out Destination Australia. They're for the people who live in regional areas. You need to prove your address there and a number of things. But there's plenty of scholarships if you are eligible to go looking for them. Not everyone gets one, but they're available.
Put your hat in the ring and see what happens.
I've submitted quite a lot of the stuff into In Place, and it says submitted, but it doesn't say verified, and there's no green tick.
The team will go through and verify that, don't worry. So the team are working on, 3,000 students. There's a team of 3. All right, so they'll get there. Just if you do upload things and you think, that's going to be approved straight away, probably won't be approved straight away, but they will get to it, okay? Because there's third years that are going out on placement earlier than you guys, so they'll look at their compliance first, okay? So, yeah.
All right, we are going to get on to things. There will be some time after we finish. I've got a few more things to get through if you've got some questions, so just hold steady for that. We're going to get on to the next bit, which I'm going to race through. It's just talking about some services, and we've got some guest people coming in. I just wanted to double check for the NT placement, they can get a subsidised, that's rural subsidised flight back and towards accommodation?
A percentage.
A percentage,
So they need to go to the placement site to have a look at that for more information.
All right. I'll put one of those on. You feel like you need to get up and have a bit of a stretch, do it before we do the next bit, but the next bit we will finish by about 12:15, 10 past 12. Don't disappear though, I need to talk to you. I
haven't finished.
No, we haven't finished yet. Questions after. We're about to continue, okay? We'll just ask questions after.
So just so you know, I haven't finished. I've got about 45 minutes left. So have a quick stretch, so 5-minute stretch and then come back. And then there's time for questions at the very end. I feel like I didn't want everyone to go. I just wanted everyone to stand up and stretch. So I've got 45 minutes, then we've got questions. But the bundles will be enrollment.
For week 3, my 1 or 2 course is getting clashed with 1 or 2, 3 on Friday.
So questions about clashing of classes. After this, someone will be there to answer that question. Okay, so that'll be the girl that was wearing the yellow shirt. Courtney, she will be able to talk to you about those things.
Alright, because I thought, sir, like this is only for 1 book. So is it like I can like swap only that day with any of the other days?
Yes, you can go into another class. You have to talk to the topic coordinator.
Alright,
for 1 day only, the 1 session only.
Yeah.
Go to the website, have a look, okay? Because they have specific requirements. Yes, I know, but the DHS students have specific requirements, so you need to see.
I was just wondering, can I order my ID card at the library?
Can you order it?
Yeah.
You just do it through that Compass. You go into order ID card and you do it all online.
Okay. So, I don't know, I heard they could take your picture at the library.
They might be able to.
Maybe I'll ask the library.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey everyone. Oh. I do have another session, so I've got to do all this in a moment. Not in a moment, at 1 o'clock. I've got to do it all again until 4 o'clock. Need to keep abreast of my own self-care and have some lunch and everything in between all that. I probably shouldn't have made it sound like it's all finished. But I think a lot of people do come here to find out about placements, and it is an important element of nursing. However, you don't get to do the placement unless you do all the other important stuff like making sure you're organised and going to your classes and doing your classes, because there's a lot of topics like your theory topics, etc., which are prerequisites for your placements. All right, I usually do patho topics, so if you come in, you won't do mine this year, you do mine next year. A lot of the topics are prerequisites, and so when Courtney had up on screen before your study plans, etc., where those red things are, they're prerequisites, which means you have to have passed that topic to go and do your placement. Now, it's important things like anatomy and physiology, Health assessment. There's no point you going on placement unless you have underpinning knowledge and you know how to do these things. So, yes, it's exciting about placements, but I need you to get excited about your studies as well. It's not a glamorous job, so you can't go to work with all your matching earrings and everything like that. You'll just have to find little ways to express your individuality, bright socks or something like that. But again, it's an exciting industry to be in. Hopefully, we've been able to tell you lots of stuff about your nursing and introduce you to this fabulous career choice. Don't worry too much if you don't know what sort of nurse you want to be. This is one of the, this is not what I planned to say, but one of the questions I ask students when I'm tutoring in their classes is, what do you want to be when you grow up? What sort of nurse do you want to be? Some students have a firm vision and a firm idea of what they want to be, and that's fantastic. If you don't know, that's okay, because you'll do lots of different placements, and you might not find out after the first placement. You might not even find out after the second placement, but at some point during your career, you'll end up on a ward or somewhere where it just all fits, and you'll go, yes, that's it. I know that when I was doing my nursing, and to be super honest, I didn't do it to be warm and fuzzy because I wanted to care for people. I did it for job security. I did it because I thought of it as a passport. I'm like, I can travel with this. Didn't travel much. I did all my nursing in Darwin. And I didn't know what I wanted to be. And I went on placements. And to be honest, the first placement I went on, hated it with passion. It's like, oh my God, what have I done? What was I thinking? I don't like this. But that's okay. I was pretty good academically, so I hung in there. My second placement was slightly better. But still, it was a bit icky for me. It's like, oh, there's things in there I didn't like. Started to worry then, thinking maybe this isn't, but I like everything else about nursing, but I just didn't like that ward. Eventually, I walked into the emergency department, blood and guts and noise and everything. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. I loved it. And it was what I wanted. And I knew then that all that time was leading up to something. So if you don't know what sort of nurse you want to be, that's okay, because there's so many nurses you wouldn't even think of wanting to be, because you don't know. So just hang in there, learn all the stuff that you need to learn, and ask for help as you're going along. Okay, don't expect it to all fall into place straight away, because often it doesn't, but it will eventually. The second part of our session is about the services we offer, so hopefully by now you've realised that we are here to help you, and there's lots of services that the university offers to get you to the point of graduating and being a successful registered nurse. I've got a couple of people, there's a couple of people, because everyone's committed elsewhere in other things. So I'm talking to a couple of slides, but there will be a couple of people coming in to chat. I want to be able to tell you about the services that we have. Our student engagement officer, who's not here at the moment because they haven't been announced and I have to wait for them formally to be announced. Previously, I've been a student engagement coordinator, so I can talk to that. So each of our disciplines, and in the College of Health Sciences, we have optometry and dietetics and physio and speech and nursing and midwifery and all these different ones, and we all have a student engagement coordinator, and that person helps you, links you into services. You might be struggling, maybe you don't want to go to the topic coordinator, maybe you're just like, oh, I'm not sure, I need help, but I don't know what sort of help, I don't know what to do. Then you go to this person, and I'll put this person up on our BN course information page. There'll be lots of information and links to that person. They can link you in with services. It could be with FUSA, which is the Flinders University Students Association. It could be recommending you go to health and counselling. It could be anything, all right? It could be, I don't know, maybe it's a housing issue and you haven't got housing or scholarships, or you need money or whatever. Not going to give you money, but they can link you in with services where there's financial advice. Help you navigate networks at Flinders. And whenever we have functions where we want all the students to be involved in, our student engagement coordinator will work with our wellness advisor, who's going to talk soon. So they work in together, okay, and have a lot to do with the exciting things that we do on campus. Who else have we got? Health and counselling and disability services. Now, I wanted to say something about this. So, it's funny, I come across students who, no, I'm fine, I don't need counselling, I'm fine. It's like we all need counselling sometimes. Sometimes we might just debrief with a colleague and that's good enough for us. Sometimes we might need someone objective who can say, hang on, this is what you're saying to me, this is what I'm hearing, and maybe get you on track. So Flinders University offers you a free counselling service. It's not just for mental health or what people assume you need counselling for. It could also be to help you with stresses, help you with coping strategies. They deal a lot with students who are academically stressed, and as such they will know some strategies that they can recommend to you to put in place to help you succeed at university. So it's not just counselling, although that is really a really good option for you to debrief too. Also with health and counselling and disability, I should have said that first. If you are not doing too well, touch base with your topic coordinator. Okay, just email them to say, look, I'm really struggling. As a topic coordinator myself, I would link you in with health and counselling and say, probably you should go and talk to these people. I might, just because I'm nice, I might just have a chat with you after class, just see how you are anyway. It's not my job to be a counsellor though. A lot of nurses fall into this thing where we want to fix everything and counsel you, but we have to try and step back because that's not our job. But my job is to make sure that you're okay. I can do that from having a little chit-chat, and then I would refer you to people. Health counselling and disability. So we have, or you can access a disability access plan if you need it. Now, some students go, no, I'm fine, I don't need it. But it might not be, you don't have to have, and I say all this without offence, you don't have to have any obvious disability. So maybe it's you're caring for disabled children at home and they've got to go to lots of appointments or hospital, a drop of a hat. Maybe that's a situation. Maybe you are a very stressful person and you have anxiety. Maybe you do have a diagnosed disorder, and that's okay. No one needs to know. No one needs to know. It's your own personal thing. But if it stops you from studying, then there are ways that we can help you without us having to know exactly what's going on. All right? So, and that is having a disability access plan. And you can find all that from going to these sites. And what they'll do is they'll give you a form which you take to your doctor. Your doctor fills out this form to say, yes, Danelle came to see me today. She does have stress, it might affect this, it might affect this, it might affect this, whatever. Still confidential, although I've told you all now, not that I have stress. It's still confidential between you and your doctor. You then take this form and you give it to the disability services. And it's still confidential, no one else is seeing it. They look at it and they go, yep, you're eligible for a disability access plan. And they print off this generic disability access plan that you are to give your topic coordinator. What that has on there, when I received them as a topic coordinator, it just says, disability access plan for Danelle. She has seen us, we have approved whatever the doctor said, and she might need 10 extra minutes to do that examination. So I get that and I go, yep, no worries, that person gets 10 extra minutes to do that examination. So we have people who have dyslexia and things like that, for example. You can go to a doctor and you have that evidence that you've got dyslexia, for example, then something like having an extra 10 minutes to do a quiz is an important thing for equity for that person. So there's things like that. It's really important. I don't want to digress onto it because I will just take the whole session up with it. But extension requests and things like that, you need to have evidence. You can apply for an extension request, which you won't need to because you're all organised, right? Because we've talked about that. You can apply, you have to apply if you're late, before you're late. Your assignment's due, what day is it? Wednesday. Your assignment's due today at 2 o'clock. You've got until 2 o'clock to write to your topic coordinator, say, hey, I need an extension. we will give you an extension for 3 days without even asking why. It's like, sure, you can have it for 3 days. But after that, I need evidence. So you will have to provide a medical certificate or something, because you need to have a legitimate reason. It's got to be unexpected or unanticipated, because up until now you've been very organised though, so you've got your assignment in on time. How am I linking this into what I was talking about? If you've got a disability access plan, you will have a 1-week extension. You have to still apply for it and say, here's my disability access plan. You'll get a 1-week extension without having to provide any other notice. That then it's because you've been deemed that you've needed it. So, health, counselling and disability, make sure that you touch base with them if you need to. And again, there's always something there to help you for equity. On to the next slide, which I'm talking to because Oasis aren't here. They are located up at the hub. Fabulous place up there. They do exciting things like, when I went up there and they're like, oh, did you want to go for a forest walk? And I'm like, no, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for lots of things. I'm very, very busy. So, however, you go in there, it's a nice space. You can relax. They have yoga. They have a food market on Thursdays where there's like free food or basically free food, like really cheap food. So obviously aimed at perhaps students who are living away from home and they're struggling, for example. They have this excellent market up there on a Thursday. They have chaplains, they have bookable spaces, prayer rooms, quiet spaces, beanbags, all sorts of things. So Oasis up the hub, if you're up there, drop in just to check it out. It's actually quite interesting to drop in and check it out, but that's an option that's available. We don't have an Oasis down here for Sturt, even though we're really important as the nursing cohort. However, it's a nice walk up to the hub to go and visit them if you need to. We do have a chaplain here on campus, Marie NG. She's just lovely, and some students prefer to speak to her because she's just lovely to talk to than to speak to health and counselling, because she's also a service that's available. Who else? Flinders University, which I spelt wrong. I hope you all picked up on that. I spelt university wrong. Is a student organisation and looks after your rights and interests. Okay, it's run social and advocacy services for students, academic advocacy, so if you need to go to an appeal, if I've failed you for something and you're like, no, you're wrong, Janelle, and I've explained why I'm right and why I failed you, you're like, I'm going to appeal, that's okay. You can go to these people, they'll help you to determine how you need to approach this, and they will even come down and sit with you if you have to have a meeting with a topic coordinator. Okay, so they're all interested and they're all about you. They also have look after clubs and student communities on campus. They have lots of free stuff. Go up there, get your diaries and get your planners and get your biros. They have lots of free stuff. Go up there. Who else is there? Aboriginal Torres Strait Islanders student support, Yungarinthi, student engagement, provide a range of services and supports for the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students. They've got quite a large team of qualified staff, and they support those students with, there's cultural space to do study in, tutoring programs, study rooms, support officers, academic skills development, just a safe place for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students. You'll find access. I've just done a quick screenshot of their page, but again, there's quick links to those areas as well. There's SLSS, or Student Learning Support Service, couldn't get here today because they are obviously stretched thin across orientation week, so they provided me with some slides. Really important, you should have, I think you automatically get access here, and it's also through your Compass and also through the BN page, BN meaning Bachelor of Nursing course page, which I put together. There should be links to all these things. So they have lots and lots of services that are here to help you. For example, the Learning Lounge. It's a great drop-in support service. It's at the Sturt Library here up on the 3rd floor is our library. You can speak to advisors about your studies or your assessments. They can help you to improve your writing and things like that, and give you some tips. Utilise them. okay, because the last thing you want to do is fail an assignment because, you know, you haven't written it well or you haven't been able to convey the meaning of what you need to get across. So if you're not too great with academic writing and stuff, go and see them. In saying that, students get quite stressed about this. And my only answer is that you are at university, so you are expected to be able to write, not on day one, but you are expected by, you know, your third year to be able to write at a certain level. We don't expect you to publish papers, you know, we don't need to write at that level, but we need you to be able to write, do paragraph spacing, and understand instructions of what we've said to you of how we want something set up, for example. And all those things, every little mark counts. Question, yes, because I need to take a breath, that's good. Thank you. If you've got questions, just put your hand up because I'm just speeding through some of these ones where no one's come to talk.
With assignments, do we have any referencing styles or citations or anything like that?
What was that? Sorry, I missed that entirely.
With assignments,
yep.
Do we have any citations or referencing styles or anything?
Yes.
Where do we get it from?
Yes, and I'm a big one on this too. I don't want to scare you about coming to my class, but if you do the right thing, you'll be fine. Flinders do APA 7th referencing, and so you'll find there's lots of link. I think there's a picture in here as well. Flinders APA 7th referencing. Okay, there's a specific way to do it. Don't do dot points. Second line's indented. So it is a bugbear for students in my classes because it's part of your academic work. I've told you what to use as a referencing tool. If you don't use it, then you will lose marks. You're not going to fail based on it, but you'll lose marks because you've been told to use a specific tool. Yep.
With assignments and essays and all that sort of stuff, if we hand it in a day late, what's the go, like, there's no leniency or?
No.
No.
That's a bit mean, isn't it? We still accept it, but you'll lose 5%. So you'll lose 5% of the maximum grade, which is usually 100%. So for every day late, it's 5 marks off. We will accept it up to 10 days, because then you've lost 50%. Unless you've done 100% assignment, it'll be a fail. So this is all written on your site under the SAMS, it's called, which is your Statement of Assessments method. So that outlines your assessments. It'll say assignment 1 is an essay, it's worth 40%. If you're late, you lose 5 marks. So that's why, be organised. You know it's due on Tuesday at 2 p.m. If by Monday you haven't done it, you write to the topic coordinator. No, you don't. You go through your topic, you apply for an extension. It's all dot point. I need an extension. I don't care why you need an extension if it's just for the 3 days, and I'll give you an extension. You then have 3 days from then till 2 o'clock on Friday. If you hand it in at 2:05, you will receive a penalty because it's not fair that someone hands it in at 2:30. It's like, where do you stop? Where do you draw the line? So that's why when you go and upload your assignments, you need to go in at least 15 to 20 minutes before the time, just in case there's an IT issue. Because then you get all panicky and then it uploads and it's a minute late and then you ring me and you say, I have an IT issue. And then I've got to say to you, can you find me some proof of this? All right, so it's ideal. It's just about being organised. You know it's due at 2 p.m. Put in your diary it's due at 1 p.m. so you make sure it's in time. Yes? Question down here.
With the pre-readings.
Yes.
Is it kind of like saying exactly how much pre-readings we need to do for every week? Is it 1 module a week or is it... Mm-hmm. And also, can we get away without buying even second-hand books?
Yes, you can use second-hand books. I'll just go backwards from your question. You can get them off people who have been here before. A lot of the books we use are e-books, which means you can access it through the library. The only drawback with that is sometimes the licence is only 10 people can be working on it at once. So if there's a quiz, the first 10 students who get it out of the library, the rest can't access it. So there are some books which I would say definitely have. Medical, surgical, nursing, yes, because that's all your stuff that you'll use throughout the years. There's a couple that you will use throughout the years that you'll use consistently, which will be good. Your first question, which was? Pre-readings. Pre-readings. That's the pre-work. You can have anywhere from 6 hours to 12 hours of work to do before you come to class. So you might be going to a class that's once a week. I think a lot of your first year classes are 2 or 3 hours once a week, am I right?
Yeah.
Thank you. However, my patho class is 3 hours twice a week. So you have to do readings for that first one and then for that second one. But those 6-week topics, when you get to them next year, are intensive topics. So they're termed intensive because it's an intensive time for you to do a lot of work in a short period of time. It's very organised. When you go onto your topics, you should go into it. They should provide you with some details, and then they'll say, read chapter 12, consider these questions before you come to class. Or they might pop a journal in there they want you to read, or they might want you to do some sort of activity before you come to class, when you can then consolidate that. So it's in your best interest to do that and to get into the habit of doing those readings.
Yeah, I found that ebooks are significantly cheaper than getting like the physical books. So when you buy the ebooks, are you able to print off pages, or are you only able to have it digitally?
There will be copyright laws as to how much you can print out. You might be allowed to print out a chapter or something like that with the ebooks. It'll tell you what the copyright laws are regarding that. So ebooks are great. I don't like them because I like to highlight and vandalise my own books. Don't do that to the library books though. But I prefer to have my book that I can refer to. You know, I've got books from a long time ago because the body doesn't change, does it? Like patho, for example, doesn't change, whereas some topics you do need to stay with the most recent books. Anyway, I've digressed entirely. Studiosity, back to student learning. Now, this is a service available where you can actually upload, if you needed to, apart from other things, an assignment, and it will give you feedback on it. It's a computer service. Now, it's not going to tell you that you've written the wrong stuff. It's not going to look at it and go, do you know what, they haven't really talked about mental health here. It's looking at the structure, the spelling, the syntax, which is your sentence structure. It'll be looking at stuff like that. So it might go, this looks fantastic, amazing, excellent, hand it in. And then you hand it in and you get a fail because the content's wrong, because you haven't answered the question. So these sort of things are really good for things like that. If you want to talk to someone about the content, have I answered the question? Because that's what I'm going to be looking at. Ask your tutor, ask your topic coordinator, okay? They're the ones who can say, yes, you're on track. Write to me. Well, not for every topic, but for my topics. Write to me and say, Danelle, thinking of talking about this, this and this, am I on the right track? And I'll say yes or no and redirect you. Save so much time than writing a whole assignment. All right, so these places like Studiosity, they're good for things like that. Also with the Student Learning Support Service, they have, and all these things, you'll have access to all these buttons because this should be on your dashboard. The Student Learning Support Service should be on your dashboard. Oh, I need to take a breath. Online modules, helping you to paraphrase and quote, plan your assignments and all the basics. Paraphrasing and quoting, again, I could do a whole session on this. Really important for you to understand that you cannot plagiarise. If Smith and Jones said something in their journal, you need to paraphrase what they said. You can't just write what they said. Because then it comes to me, it's your topic, and I'm reading your assignment and I'm like, oh no, you didn't say this, someone else said this. And that's plagiarism, and that then becomes an academic integrity issue, and then we have to have a talk. Or your topic coordinator has to have a discussion with you. So it's really important. Paraphrasing is a really solid academic skill to learn how to read a journal, learn how to read an article and summarise it in your own words to show you understand, but then still acknowledge where you found that information. That would be perfect. That's what you need to aspire to do. Okay. I don't want to scare you about academic integrity. Plenty of time for that. Lots of buttons they have on the Student Learning Support Service, so we put things here to help you. So make sure you utilise it. If you're doing, we have lots of different assessments, reports, essays, workbooks. There's oral presentations or oral vivas where you have to upload a chit-chat about whatever you're doing, answering a question. There's lots and lots of different types of assignments. These will give you some guidelines about how to do it, how to upload things, what's the best way, how to speak clearly, etc., etc. So utilise these services, because if you come to me or any of the topic coordinators and you've done, and not your own fault, I get it, but perhaps you haven't done the best you could do, and we're like, we need you to go to Student Learning Support Services, they will help you, we'll refer you to go to them. Okay, so if you don't pick up that you need to go to them, we will acknowledge that and say, you need to go to them. Okay, so do that because they're there to help you. It's free. Everyone loves something free, right? There's that APA referencing. You can just click in Flinders APA referencing. Students in my class, I will hand this out to you and say, make sure you use this. And it gives lots of examples through there. So all these sort of pamphlets, etc., are available on their sites and through links, and you can easily access them. That APA referencing, it's about, 10 pages long, gives examples of how to reference websites, journals, books, etc., and gives examples of what it should look like. So you can't go wrong there. How are we going? We good with student learning support services? Any questions? Are we scared? Don't be scared. Okay, you're all going to start somewhere, and when you start at the first year topics, you're not going to be asked to do a literature review in your first year. If you are, you need to come and see me, and I'll talk to their topic coordinator. In first year, you're doing formative assessments, little things, little reports. You might do mini essays, little workbooks. What else have I seen? What else do I do in first year? Nothing massive. You're not going to get a 3,000 word essay. Okay, you're just not going to get that. Okay, as you go on in years, you might have increased complexity where I maybe expect that you might be able to put better terms in place. Maybe it's going to be a 2,000 word paper in second year or something like that. So you're not going to start out really hard, and we try and vary the assignment so you're not constantly writing or constantly doing things like that. Questions? Okay. There you go. There's one of those QR codes on screen. You'll be able to access them using that. It's on your dashboard, it's via your compass, it's everywhere. It's very overt so that you can utilise these services. Mel, is Mel here? Thank God. Someone else is here just to give me a break so I can do some self-care and have a drink of water. Mel is our Success and Wellbeing Advisor, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about her role in the college. And then I think I have someone else talking.
Hello legends, how are you today? You had enough of listening? Tired? Look, I'll be really, really quick. So my name's Mel, I'm a Success and Wellbeing Advisor for this college, College of Nursing and Health Sciences, and also for College of Medicine and Public Health. So I support a bunch of you guys throughout the year. So my job is kind of described up there. What I'm here to do is uni can be really big and overwhelming, and we understand that you don't study independently of also having a life. We know that there's other stuff going on. Some of you are working, some of you are caring for people, some of you are maybe at uni for the first time, some of you maybe have gone out and worked and come back to uni, and you have a whole lot of other life things happening. And what we also understand about you being here is that sometimes things go wrong. Your car breaks down, you get kicked out of home, your dog breaks its leg, things like that. Things happen. You get really homesick if you're here from the country or you're here from overseas. And when things start to go wrong, sometimes your academic can start to suffer because you start to maybe concentrate on the things that are going wrong, and maybe you go, I'm just going to try and push through. I'm going to go to class. I'm going to get done what I need to get done, and I'm just going to push through, and I'm not going to ask anyone for help because I can do this. I can get this done. People are relying on me. I'm a grown-up. I have to do this on my own. That is so far from being the case. What I'd like to encourage you to do is if something starts to go a little bit pear-shaped in your life and you're starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed and like you can't manage, reach out to your topic coordinator, reach out to Danelle as your course coordinator, or you can reach out to me. I support the college, but I don't work for the college, so sometimes students appreciate that they can talk to someone who's not actually, I guess, reporting through to management within the college. And so what I can do is I can sit down with you for 30 minutes and I can talk about, you can tell me what's been going on, what's been going wrong, where you're feeling overwhelmed, and then we'll work out a plan going forward. And part of my role in that plan is to try and link you in with services at the uni. We have so many free services here at the uni, so many, but often academic staff, professional staff and students get confused about which service does what. So we'll work out what you might need, and we'll work out maybe what order you might need it. So if you're about to be kicked out of home, we'll get you up to FUSA to speak to the Students' Association about an emergency grant. If you have ADHD and you don't have an access plan,
I'll help to link you in with disability services to get an access plan. If you're really struggling academically and you haven't been to SLSS, I can refer you on to SLSS, and I'll also check back with you. There's some other stuff that I can do, which is if you're feeling like you're passing but you just want to do a little bit better, I can sit with you and we can work out maybe what services you can connect with that'll get you maybe a high distinction instead of a credit. I can also work out with you to maybe put in place some sort of weekly plan, time management, things like that. And then I can also help you navigate the university system. There's a lot of red tape, there's a lot of processes, there's a lot of things you need to know about. If you're not sure or they're confusing, you can come and have a chat with me and I'll point you in the right direction. I think if you remember one thing from what I'm speaking about here today is that at Flinders we want you to ask for help. You're not meant to do it on your own. A lot of people, especially if you've come out of high school, a lot of people might be saying, you're a grown-up now, you've got to do it all on your own. No, you don't. Put your hand up, ask for help. If you're confused, there are no silly questions. My website is down there. Go on the website, click book an appointment, click College of Nursing Health Sciences. You'll see my pretty little face on the booking page. Choose a time, put in prefer Sturt campus because I don't want to walk up the hill, and I'll come down here and I'll meet you. If you want to meet me up at the hub, I can do that. If you want to meet on Teams, I can do that. If you want a phone call, I can do that. So I'm here, I'm available. If you're not sure, I can point you in the right direction. And also, a lot of other services are going to say similar things to you, and they can also refer you. Anything else?
Help you.
Thanks.
You, Mel. That's fantastic.
I will just say that don't forget, when you leave, don't go to your car. Go down to the cafe. Oasis are down there, health counselling down there, FUSA are down there. Get the freebies, talk to them. I will just mention Oasis are rolling out this year a brand new ADHD support group. So if anyone is in the room has ADHD, it's filling up very fast if you're interested. And they're also doing life hacks during the year. So look, ask Magnolia about that one too. Have a great O week, and I will see you around.
Thanks, Mel. Fantastic. Fabulous. So see, there's lots of help here. We all want to help you. Last speaker we've got is Peng, is going to be talking for the International Students Services. Thanks, Peng.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Peng. I'm an international student advisor. Hands up if you're an international student.
Don't be shy.
There's a lot. That's great. That's great. That's what I want to see. So basically, International Student Services, we offer a range of services for international students only. In regards to what we help students with, it's a range of things. So as you can see here, if you've got questions, no question's a silly question, okay? You feel free to ask. We get a lot of times that students, international students, come to us for particular reasons. For example, I'm failing. I've failed a topic. What happens to my visa? What happens to my COE? Okay? If you have questions like that, then you can email us. You can schedule an appointment with us. Now, we are based in the Bedford Park. We're based on in Registry Road, and it is the Professional Services building. We're on level 1. Okay? This is our team, and there are 2 of us that look after this course. So we work with students. We also invite you to fun events, okay? So who's registered for the welcome event for international students on Friday? Great. I really encourage you to come, okay? There'll be free prizes, so you get into a raffle. You can win an iPad. Well, actually, I think it's a tablet, so sorry. But yeah, there are a lot of things that we organise in terms of we do special fun things for students, so we're organising a football and Aussie barbecue for our international students to come along, okay? So if you have any questions or if you would like to make an appointment with one of us, please use the QR code that will take you to our website, and then you will be able to schedule an appointment. We can do Teams, we can do a phone call, or we can do a face-to-face consultation down in Bedford Park, okay?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Excellent. Haven't we got so much here for you people? All right, O Week. We are coming to the very end. Last couple of slides before some questions. So your O Week takes place the week before your semester starts next week. You should know by now there's lots of exciting things to be going on, so make sure you go through your orientation planner
to see what's about that you might want to join. Might be some stuff down here. There's certainly stuff in the cafeteria, which I've got on the final slide. So I've allowed some time today, so we've got some last-minute questions if you've got some last-minute questions about anything at all, anything that's worrying you, ask the question and we are happy to answer you. So does anyone have, first of all, thank you so much for making the time to come. I know we've got about 800 new students starting this year into first year. Across the international students, we've got enrolled nurses upskilling, and we've got students coming in to the 3-year degree. So really looking forward to getting to know you. My door is always open, even though you have that hierarchy of people to see. I'm happy to speak to students about anything. So now's a good time to ask me a question, or placement's a question, or Courtney, who does timetabling, who has questions? One up there.
Getting my steps up, huh?
Do you want to go walk that?
I've tried to make my timetable, but it keeps adding classes.
Well, you'll be
so
busy.
it says I'm here for the whole week when I originally had 2 days off. Do you know what that's about?
That's you, Courtney.
When you're looking at your timetable, just make sure you're looking at just week by week, because it will put all your classes into the one screen. So where you have your intensive, that'll show that you have to be here 4 days in a row, and that's probably overlapping with some of your weekly classes. But if you look at it week by week, then it should only show you what you've got in that 1 week.
I think just to make this a neat, streamlined event, if you don't have a question and you would like to go, you are welcome to go. Go and get your freebies downstairs. If you do have a question, please come up the front to see us. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you around.
So does classes start next week?
Monday, yes.
Okay. They started in March.
They start all over, so it depends what are you enrolled in.